Okay, so welcome back. So after the brief overview that I gave you, now we start with the module, and because it's strategic marketing management, I hope you have done your strategy module earlier. Have you done your strategy?
Yes.
Okay, so you would know what is strategy and different levels of strategy, you know. So can you recall what are the different levels of strategies? You know, because if you look at a company, you know, there is the leadership, management, middle level management, lower level management. So similarly there are different levels of strategies also, you know. So there's an overall strategy under which the company works. Then there are functional level strategies, you know, marketing strategy, HR strategy, and finance strategy, and all those. And there are operational strategies then, you know, which you execute. So different levels of strategies are there. So if you look at marketing strategy, it's a functional strategy, isn't it? Overall, it has to come under the overall strategy. There will be overall strategy of the company, and your marketing strategy should be in line with that, you know. Obviously that has to be done. But what is happening in the last few, or I should say last 15 years or so, marketing strategy, though it is a functional strategy, is influencing the overall strategy of the company. It is such an important strategy. See, your company, the only department, you know, which brings in revenue for a company is marketing, isn't it? Every other functional department is a cost to the company. Now, looking from the finance or accounting terms, everything else is the cost. They don't bring in any revenue. You know, even when we see sometimes, you know, our bosses says, man, you only spend, you don't earn anything because we don't bring in sales. That's the truth for every company, isn't it? Marketing is the only department which will bring in revenue. That's why it's the most important, one of the most, I should say, important functional departments. So last 15 years or so, marketing strategy has been influencing the overall strategy of the company. So normally the overall strategy is set keeping in mind the marketing strategy. So that's the importance of marketing, you know. It's such an important area. You know your customer, you know how to sell, what is the product, what is the price, at what product, what price are you going to sell. That's the basic part of any company, isn't it? That's why everything else can change according to that. You cannot change your marketing according to your HR, isn't it? That you only have these people, now whatever these people can do, I'll develop my marketing strategy according to that. It doesn't work like that. You have a marketing strategy, you know that, okay, I want these kind of people. You ask HR to get those people, train those people, motivate those people in that way. So marketing is a very important functional strategy, right? So I'm not going into the details of what is strategy and, but, okay. So these are the levels of strategy: the corporate strategy, the business level strategy, and the functional strategies. And you can have the fourth level also, that's the operational strategies. So what do you mean by a corporate strategy? It's like, I think, she's gone. I think she works for Virgin Group, right? Now Virgin is one of the groups which has got multiple businesses, isn't it? Virgin is into so many different businesses. They have mobile also, they have health also, they started with the railways also, they have a space mission also, this, that, I think, and number of businesses. So as a company, Virgin as a group, they will have a corporate strategy under which all different companies of Virgin will come, whether it's Virgin Mobile, Virgin Health, Virgin Rail, everything. So that's basically the corporate level strategy. Business level strategy is for each business separately, like for Virgin Mobile, you have a strategy. For Virgin Health, you have a different strategy. That is called a business level strategy, individual businesses. And then you have a functional strategy, which are the marketing strategies, HR, finance, you ask.
The corporate strategies of business portfolios on that.
Yeah, so as say for example, now Virgin wants to decide as a group, you know, like how much investment should I make in Virgin Mobile, how much investment I should make in health, or should I start Virgin Health in different countries. So all those decisions are taken at the corporate level. Those are corporate level strategies. Maybe to shut down one of the businesses. They say, okay, now this is not working. For Regenesys that has happened. Many of their businesses have failed. Many of them have been highly successful. And Richard Branson says that, he says that diversification is the main strategy for him. His portfolio is so diversified. See, no two businesses may be related to each other. Where is mobile and health and railways related to each other? No relation. Different industries. He says, wherever I find there is an opportunity to invest, I will invest. At the same time, it makes that if he has to divest also, he will divest. So that's our corporate strategies. Because as a group, you have a particular amount of money with you. How do you distribute among different businesses? So those comes under corporate level strategies. And then you have got business level strategy for individual businesses. And then the functional level, and you may think of an operational strategy as the fourth level. But normally they talk about these three levels. Yeah, you were saying.
Okay, so with the example you're using with Virgin, so there's a parent company.
Yes, Virgin as a group. Yes.
Group.
Yes.
And then each of the different companies, like for example Virgin Active,
yeah,
it's its own CEO and its own team.
Yeah.
Right, and all those things.
Yes.
So if you are working on strategy at a group level, and let's say Virgin Active, the CEO and the team are working on the strategy as well, is it two different levels or it's one level?
Okay, let me answer it in this way. See, for that particular business, which market, say for Virgin Active, have a CEO. X is the CEO of Virgin Active. So X has to decide what will be the marketing strategy, what will be the functional strategy, which market to operate. All those decisions are taken by the CEO of Virgin Active. That is not affected by the corporate level strategy. Corporate level strategy is more at, should I have this business? Shouldn't I have this business? Or if the business is not doing well, should I pump in more money? It's not working, should I just get rid of this business? Those are at the corporate. So maybe Richard Branson and the team may be deciding whether they continue with this, or whether do you want to expand. Say for example, you are CEO. He may not be in a position to think about a decision that should I expand it to a different country. Maybe that's taken at the corporate level. That's more governed at the corporate level. But for individual businesses, that's where they don't interfere normally. But I tell you, now that depends from group to group. Certain groups, people sitting at that top level, they decide everything. Now, see, whatever we are discussing is ideally should happen. But what happens in reality, the truth is sometimes very different, I tell you. People sitting at the head office decide everything. Those poor guys, maybe the CEO, he does nothing. He's a puppet. He's kind of remote controlled by people sitting at the head office.
Question. Coming to marketing now, because we've got these three levels of strategy, maybe four. Marketing. Can marketing be involved in the first level? And I ask this for this reason. The company I work for instance, it's a multinational company.
Right.
It's in Germany, head office.
Okay.
But they don't have marketing for other countries. Each country does its own marketing.
Yes.
But then there's no head office for marketing as well in Germany.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking now.
Okay. Let me put it in this way. At the corporate level, at the head office level, they don't make functional strategies. Like marketing is a functional strategy. People sitting like you are sitting here in South Africa, you would better understand the South African market than people sitting in Germany. That's why this functional strategy is left to you to decide, like maybe the South African office to decide rather than they deciding. So that's why they only think about higher level strategies, whether to invest, not to invest, how much to invest, all those kind of big decisions are taken. These functional levels are left open to the individual company to decide. So you will have a marketing department who decides their strategies. So that's not governed really by them. They will give them, what they can do is maybe they say, okay, what we expect is at the end of the year we want you to make a profit of 10% or 10 billion or 5 billion or 10 million, whatever. That direction can come from there. Now how do you do it is up to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand coming into marketing, how far up does it go on this level? But I understand now.
It's a functional strategy.
So you will never get it on top at the corporate level?
No.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is this functional strategy, this marketing is such an important strategy that this functional strategy may affect your business strategies at the top level. The CEO of the company, when he decides the strategies, I think marketing may be the strategy which will affect all other strategies, like the HR strategy, the finance strategy, the operation.
Business units, but not the whole group.
No, not the whole group.
Yeah, sorry to take you back again. Just a bit of clarity on because I just picked up something from what he's saying. So now, for example, the same company like Virgin, and it is assuming the same company that has the same portfolio, the same product or services they are rendering, where they have branches, like they have one here in South Africa, one in Nigeria, one like the way ShopRite is.
All right.
They are under the same group and they operate the same business, not diversification. There's the same kind of portfolio. How does that the corporate strategy in terms of marketing comes in place?
Okay, see, what I feel is most of the times what happens is they will have a geographical area, like the CEO. They say, okay, this CEO is going to look after this area, entire Africa, only South Africa. So and when that area is decided, that comes under a business level now. So that becomes the business now. That you are the CEO of, say for example, South Central African regions. So you make strategies, business level strategies for that area only.
Okay.
That's how they decide.
Okay, that's clear.
That's how you decide. So sometimes that area can be the entire continent also, or it can be just one country also. If a country is as big as China or India, you cannot think of two regions or something. Within one country itself, it can be sufficient. So
Thank you, sir.
yeah. So though it is more of a strategic management, but I thought let me bring in, because we are discussing strategic marketing. So this different levels. Okay. So if you look at functional strategy, we are only looking at marketing. We are not looking at different functional strategies. So primary focus is to effectively allocate and coordinate marketing resources and activities to accomplish the firm's objectives within a specified product market. Effectively allocate and coordinate marketing resources. Maybe the company is as big as Apple, but you always have limited resources. You cannot think that any company has got unlimited resources, they can do whatever they want to do. No. There is always a limitation on the resources that you have. So what you do is, how do you allocate? So how do you really allocate? Say for example, marketing. There are so many different functions in marketing itself. What is the budget for advertising? What is the budget for promotions? What is the budget for within advertising also there are different types of advertising. Right? There is a television ad, there is a print ad, there is social media, and there is a billboards. And so how do you allocate resources for all those? What is the budget for human resources within that? What is the budget for incentives? So all that you need to allocate those resources. Your resources are limited. How are you going to allocate that? Now that's one part. So how do you allocate and coordinate marketing resources and activities? Now second thing is, the one is resources, second is activities. If we talk about the different activities of marketing, all those, your segmentation, your targeting, your positioning, for the 4P, there will be somebody responsible for those activities, isn't it? See, who is going to run promotions? Who is responsible? So you have different people like brand managers, and then your sales staff and advertising. Most of the companies outsource their advertising. Some people do it in-house. Who will do market research is outside agencies, your own. So you have to think about each of the activities and then allocate resources. Resources in terms of human resource and also the financial resources. So all these activities, that's basically the marketing strategy. So how do you allocate? That have to be decided. It's not a small thing many times, but that has to be decided. So activities, who is going to do what? There's so many activities. Who is responsible for it? Who is going to do what? Entire reporting structures, everything. So all this forms the functional strategy, that's marketing. Right. Critical issue is specifying the target market for a particular product or a product line. Now, it is very critical to identify your target market. Who is your target? It means, you know, the second part after segmentation, when you do targeting, that is very important, that everybody in the marketing department understands what is my target market, who is my customer. See, unless you know who is your customer, how can you make strategies? They should be very clear that this is my customer and forget everything else. You have to only focus on your customer. Their needs, how would they satisfy their need? You know, so that's your only concern is your target market. Forget everything else. If your target market is, say for example, lower income class, you are not bothered about high income class, you are not bothered about high quality products. No, your target market is low income group. So your product has to be something which they can afford. So let's focus only on them. We are not concerned about anything else. You know, what was this washing powder? You know, I forgot that brand, which they focus on, you know, low income people, the washing powder. Yeah. So, you know, and there was a classic example, I cannot recall the name of that brand. You know, I worked for some time in Zambia, a long time back, 10, 12 years back. And there was that, for washing they used to have a tub soap. You know, there was a plastic tub and there was a soap inside that. So when I looked at the case study, somebody said that, you know, there's a huge market because they were targeting low income people with that. And it was such a huge, like, people used to wait for that. Like, it's like, you know, they had limited production and people used to wait for it because it was very cheap, it was very economical, and it was selling like hotcakes, you know, those things. It's very simple to make. But nobody knew, and somebody came out with that idea. They knew that this is low income class, they prefer this, they started selling that. So they were only bothered about, they can make, you know, Unilever and all those big companies can make wonderful washing powders and soaps, but those people are not bothered about. Those people want a economical product. And that was, so when you are doing marketing, you are only concerned about your target market. So your target market should be very well defined. And then you have to keep an eye on your target market. How are their needs changing? See, as a customer, our needs keep on changing. Or in other words, we want a different product to satisfy the same need, maybe. Our need may remain the same, but we get bored with the same product, isn't it? We get bored with the same smartphone, with the same car, maybe with the same furniture, with a similar kind of clothes, the shoes, everything. We want something different. So what that different is, you have to keep an eye. And if it is possible for you to influence your market, if you can bring in innovation, bring. The future, the amount of changes that is coming in the future is huge. You know, the dependence on ESCOM for electricity will be gone in the future. You know, like Elon Musk of Tesla Motors is talking about power walls. You know, he says you don't really need ESCOM. The way the houses are constructed in the future, your walls will take sunlight directly and convert it into electricity, and so you have your own electricity in your house. So you don't worry for ESCOM. So the government doesn't have to bail out or do anything. You have your own electricity.
So it will also have effect on the economy, on the government, because government also generates a lot of income from there.
Yeah, so things will change a lot. They say this is just the beginning. They're talking about the life. You know, the living may become easier, and instead of the prices going up, it may come down. If you have your own, you know, electricity prices are going to come down. You know, we pay petrol, I think it's 14 point something now. So 15, whatever it is. It is going up and up and up. But with electric cars and solar power cars, you know, forget about this. You are not worried about this fuel anymore. So things will change. The cost will come down. So, you know, many things. So cost of transportation, cost of communication is also going to come down. Telecom. See, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, that the data that we use will not be that expensive. You know, still South Africa, because when in December I went to India, My family is so used to using data. Like there is a company called Airtel in India. They recently launched, unlimited, and the price. You'll be surprised. It's not even 400 rands for a year. Now, can you imagine that? Less than 400 rands for a year, unlimited.
Airtel is in Nigeria. They bought, I think, the Indian company.
Now, it's just unimaginable. Like here, for 400 rands for entire year, unlimited. Now, what do you do with that now? so it's like, so they are working on numbers now, because India is a huge, the population is huge, so they are able to, but I'm just talking about so even here, I think the data rates will go down and down and down.
Sure.
So it is definitely going to come down in the future. So
somebody bring them to South Africa.
No, I think they tried. We had a Neotel or something earlier. I don't know what happened. Even we have a better option in India. There's something called a company called Reliance. Now they are bringing they brought a sort of a revolution in India. They in fact they were the ones who brought the data cost to such a low, like, and the calls. The calls are almost literally for free. When you get data, the calls are free. So like, it's like, everybody, to an extent where, what should I say? Say for example, the beggars even. They will have also a mobile phone now. Because it's hardly any cost. Once you get this, it's hardly any costs. So you just, kids and everybody, everybody, they don't even bother about data and anything. So my family recently came here. So I said, no, I have got it. Telcom, 40 GB for 2 months. They exhausted in 1 week. And then say, where is what? What? Where is the data? I said,
I have a question about India. There's a company that killed every other
telecom.
Telecom and every other cell phone provider. Apparently the government was involved there. The government coughed up some money.
See, those issues are always there, because the person who owns that company, he's like the richest Indian.
Yeah.
He is among, I think, the top 20 richest in the world. He owns the house which is the costliest in the world. Because I was in Mumbai, for some time, because Regenesys is in Mumbai also. So I was there. He doesn't travel on road. From his residence to his office, he uses helicopter. Even his lunchbox goes in a helicopter. So he lives that kind of a life. And he can influence, I tell you, with his money power, he can just influence.
You mean the owner?
Yeah, because I was in Mumbai last year, and the guys from Mumbai told me data is too expensive. All of a sudden,
he comes out with a revolution. Yeah, it's a revolutionary.
Every company, everyone closed.
I think what I would say here is
that's disruptive technology is coming in. That's what we are talking about. In the future, it can happen to any country in any industry.
But in Africa, and especially, let me use South Africa as a case study. This market is being monopolized the way I see it. You cannot break into this country. You see, in Nigeria, we have this banking system. Once you open an account, the banks don't close it. They don't tell you are owing. If you have 1,000 rand, if you come after 5 years, you will get even something like 5,020. You have an interest, but they will send an email or informing the SMS that you are not running your account 6 months. You did not done. And the policy within South Africa here doesn't allow people to break into the market. And one thing I see here, I'm sorry to say this, is government is also conniving with companies to rob their people in terms of policy. Government stick to that, they don't break the market open for everybody like other countries, whereby if you have a product that can benefit people, come into the system, but there must be a quality control system whereby whatever you are bringing, stand the test of time. I think that is one thing I see here, why data, all these things are more expensive. In my own view, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Can be.
It's true. That's why we still don't have electric cars.
Yeah. You talk about like monopolies like Escom or DSTV and why they are so expensive.
Yeah.
Monopolies are always expensive, it's expensive for the customers.
But how does Airtel make money? They're giving data for free, or is data that cheap now?
See, they all work on numbers, I don't know, it's like
I think it's
with the population,
of India.
Yeah, because if you think about
Yeah.
that, population,
1.3 billion.
But even
The population is more than the entire African continent, you know that. The Indian population is more than the entire 52 countries.
because the
So it's more than that, the one country itself. No, that's how big market is.
The numbers count.
So that's where everybody talks of numbers. Even if you get a few cents per customer, the overall profit is huge. So there's a lot of revolution in India about this internet, and the speed and everything is wonderful.
It is, but with this telecoms industry, I think even what he's saying, even in Africa though, I think it's the easier one to do. Like if you look at how Econet Wireless did it in Zimbabwe, now it's all over Africa. But in Zimbabwe there was a monopoly as well with the telecoms industry. But then they went to court and all that, and then they broke it. Now they're in Zimbabwe, they're making billions. You understand? And now, you understand? So I think with this industry, the telecoms industry, I think it's easier to break into it more than the other ones if you have a proper strategy and everything.
Now that's what initially I was talking about. This fourth industrial revolution, or what now we're talking about the fifth one. They're talking about this innovations are going to be everywhere. And every industry, if you are the head of marketing, you should be very, very cautious of what, either you innovate or die, something like that. If you don't innovate, somebody else is going to innovate, your product will become obsolete and you are out of the market.
Okay.
So you have to continuously upgrade yourself, you have to change. That's the only way you do the things, otherwise you just can't survive. So whatever. In India also there were big companies, multinational companies in telecom, gone. Why? Because suddenly somebody comes with this sort of an idea. And what they did, not just that, it was like they had done it earlier also, I think 15-20 years back. The same group tried something. It was like, now also they are trying, I think, is a smartphone in, I think, 150 rands or something. 100 rands or 150 rands. And that's, and that was, and that comes with preloaded so many functions and features so for 1 year you pay, I think, I don't know, 1,000 or something rands, and then for the entire 1 year you only pay for that handset and the data. And the first year how they started that group was, you only buy that handset. For 1 year, entire data is free. You don't pay a single penny. That's what they did. Don't pay anything, buy my phone or buy my SIM, you're free. For 1 year is free. They started for 3 months, then extended for 6 months, then for 1 year. 1 year you don't have to pay. Now what happened? If you are becoming used to something for 1 year, can you change? I tell you, it's impossible. And then they started to charge. Now see, they have got, the first month itself, they had 50 million customers, the population of South Africa, in 1 month. Now, it was free, but when they started to charge, now they had got more than 100 million customers. Wow, the profit goes like that. So, that's disruptive. Now you have to think out of the box, and these are something. But I think in every market, everywhere, you have to be very cautious. Somebody comes in and does like that. What do you do? I think a huge revolution is awaiting South Africa also in telecom, even in banking. A few banks, and I don't know, sometimes I don't find it, because unless there is a huge competition, the services don't improve.
Yeah.
That's what it takes time. Transferring from one bank to another, why does it take 2 days, man? It's electronic transfer. Why 2 days? What for 2 days? You're not physically
The money's there.
why physically? Why for like my simple? I always fail to understand why 2 days.
Yeah.
It's electronic, man. From here to there. It's electronic, not physically you are taking some money.
It's traceable funds.
Yeah.
No source and the receipt.
Yeah, and because earlier I used to find it, I used to transfer from FNB to I have an account in SBI, that's an Indian bank. Because to transfer to India, I trust that bank because I have an account of the similar bank in India. So from FNB I get my salary, I transfer it to State Bank of India, and from there I transfer it back to India, to my family, the money. And from FNB to SBI it takes 2 days. From SBI South Africa to SBI India it takes 30 minutes. I said, no, this is electronic, man. How come if it can go from South Africa to India in 30 minutes, why from within the country it is taking 2 days?
Yeah.
I fail to understand. So a revolution is awaiting, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so we were talking about your target market. You need to be aware of your target market. What's happening in your target market? So firms seek competitive advantage and synergy through marketing mix elements. Every company, the very basic purpose of a strategy is to have a competitive advantage. The very core purpose. If you look at Michael Porter, he says there is no strategy if it doesn't lead to a competitive advantage. If it do not lead to a competitive advantage, it's not a strategy. And he was, because I also facilitated strategic management also, he said once that 80% of the world big companies don't have a strategy. They say they are fighting for efficiency and effectiveness. Say for example, you say I can deliver pizza in 20 minutes. Earlier I was delivering in 30 minutes. That's not a strategy. You are just trying to be more effective. That's it. So increasing, and tomorrow somebody else can come and do the same thing in 15 minutes. So what does that mean? It means nothing. They say, so you should lead to a competitive advantage that is sustainable. At least for 5 years, 10 years, it should be sustainable. Otherwise it's not a strategy. You for market, sometimes you follow the prices. There's a competition. X company, say for example, X MTN charges one amount and Telcom charges, so their rates may be similar, or Vodacom, why they're competing. That's not a strategy. You're just trying to compete. So it should lead to a competitive advantage that is sustainable. That's why he said that it's not a strategy. So it's not a strategy class, so I cannot discuss in detail what he talked a lot about what is strategy, and so look at some of the videos if you get in time. Michael Porter on strategic management. He's wonderful, I tell you. Your entire concept of strategy would change the way he talks. Now, marketing's role in formulating and implementing strategies. The essence of strategic planning at all levels is identifying threats to avoid an opportunity to pursue. Marketing managers are usually most familiar with conditions and trends in the market environment. So these are the people who are able to influence all other strategies. Why? Because they know about the market. They are the people who know market more than any other department, isn't it? Everybody is there sitting in the office with the air cons on. They don't know what is happening outside in the market. Marketing people go and interact with people. So they have the pulse of the market. That's why. So thus they not only develop strategies for marketing department, but are often primary participants and contributors to the planning process at the business and corporate levels as well. So these are the people, real people. That's why you'll see most of the companies value their marketing people a lot. They get a lot of incentives and this and that. They win a trip to Europe, US, somewhere, why all the time they get all the advantages. They are people who are bringing in revenue, man. They bring in money. Okay. I'm not discussing this, but so basically what they are trying to say is that most of the companies which uses R&D for innovative product offering, that's where marketing is more contributing towards strategy. If you are thinking about innovations, that's where marketing. Because marketing guys will come and tell you that there is some other company thinking of a new product. You saw a new product in some market. Customers don't like a product. There are many complaints coming. They don't like a product anymore. All the feedback comes from marketing people. So I'm not going into the lot of detail. So why strategic marketing? Because why we talk it as strategic marketing? Why not marketing? The very purpose is that you can have simple marketing, but marketing as a strategy. And remember, I discussed that strategy is something which gives you a competitive advantage, which is sustainable. So your marketing strategy, though it is a functional strategy, you should build it in a way that it gives you some sort of a competitive advantage. And it should be a long-term thing. It's not should be only say for 2019 or 2020. No, it's a long-term thing. So changing business environment. Business environment is continuously changing. As I discussed, the trade war between China and US and the Brexit. Till March, such two major events may change many things in the world market. Right. And what as a result, what is going to happen? It will give a lot of opportunities to some other companies also. Some companies will lose opportunities. Some companies will gain opportunities because of that. We have more knowledgeable customers now. Today's customer is very knowledgeable, updated. Because of all this internet and everything, they have an access to all the information in the world. So in today's time, if you have to sell and market, you know that the customer is well informed. You cannot fool your customer. They know everything. No market boundaries. Now there are no market boundaries. Not geographical boundary doesn't matter. Even the product is not available in South Africa, but you are aware of that. That product has been launched today in US market. You know that next week or next 15 days it is going to come to South Africa also. You're already aware of that. And there are certain products which are available online. You just buy. Amazon, you buy, okay, online. It comes to your place, okay, fine. So certain things like what Apple iTunes brought in, that music download. Now what happened to all those music CD companies? You remember those music CD companies? What happened to those companies? Where are they now? Because they failed to change, A disruptive technology came in and they lost. If they were, they've suffered that marketing myopia thing. They didn't know what long term. They thought that they are into the business of selling CDs. They didn't know they are in the business of selling music. People want music. So, and they want it in a convenient way. So this was a more convenient way. So that's why this was a success and that was a failure. And new forms of competition. Now, competition can come from anywhere. Earlier what used to happen is, when you think about competition, you used to look at competitors from within the industry. Say for automobile, you only look at, okay, who are my competitors? Car market, okay. Different companies, okay, this is VW, this is Mercedes, or this is BMW or whatever, this Toyota. You look at, okay, this is the market. Now, see, when you think about competition, just think about the need you are satisfying. So if you think about a car, what does it satisfy the need of transportation? Now, what are the different ways in which somebody can move from one place to another? You can have a bicycle also, right? A motorbike, a Harley Davidson, a Toyota or Mercedes, and people are already talking about those drones that can take you from one place to another. So you can have individual drones tomorrow. So you see a lot of crowd in the air now. Everybody going office from home using their personal drones. That can happen. Flying taxis and all those are becoming the realities. So now all these people who can transport people from one place to another are competitors of each other. Why? Because the need is, all are satisfying the same need. Today, I don't want a drone because that's not available. Tomorrow when the drone becomes available, that can be a choice. I may think that, okay, should I buy a BMW or a drone? I won't be stuck in traffic. Let me have my own drone and, take me to the office. So that's why, this, when you think about competition, we have to think very broadly and think in terms of the need. What are the different companies which can satisfy this need? All are in competition to each other. So you can say that Harley Davidson and Toyota are in competition. This is mobile, this is a car, but they are in competition. Why? Because they satisfy the same need, transportation. Even a Uber can come in because you have a choice, either to buy a car or you say, no, let me use this Uber only. So they are satisfying, they are trying to compete for the same need, that is transportation. So that's how when you think about competition, you have to think broadly. And the way you think is, who all satisfy the same need? Which are the companies? It may be from within the industry, from outside the industry. The classic case is the camera industry. Now, because of the smartphones, that has become smartphones and camera are two different things. But now, many people don't think of buying a camera now. They want to have a smartphone which has got a better camera. So this 10 megapixels or 20 and all this zoom and everything, they find in the phone itself. They're not going in. So that is replacing that. So that's the competition came from smartphone industry. So similarly now smartwatches, for example, all the wearable gadgets, they're talking about. I saw that jacket, if it's winter, you have a jacket. When you go to the office, you put on your seat, it gets converted into an interactive screen. It's a laptop screen. Then you start doing that. So now this is going that fast, So you don't know the future.
So when you say competition is more focused on the need.
Yes.
Maybe it's more or less equal to even the want as well. Right? What I mean by that is, for example, Toyota. Toyota was Toyota as in it had one company, but then they learned that they didn't get in the luxury industry. That's why they created Lexus.
Yes.
Right? So Lexus became the luxurious Toyota, but it was the same car, but just different emblems.
Yes.
So there maybe the want as well is more or less similar to.
Yeah, because because the company would have thought that people for transportation may want different products. Some customers may satisfy the need of transportation with, say, for example, taxis. Some want a more personal, luxurious vehicle. Okay, they want that one. So why not to introduce? That's why when I talked about segmentation, we said there are different segments. You have to identify which segments are you satisfying today and what are still to be targeted. You say, no, there is a segment which wants a premium car. I don't have it. Okay, tomorrow I introduce one. I say, okay, now I'll cover up these customers also. Because these customers were earlier going to BMW or Mercedes, now say, or let them come to me. You look at Unilever. You know about Unilever, right? Look at the different soaps they have. If you just look at, I think they may have 10 different brands of soap. Now, why so many? They don't want to leave any segment to any other company. They want to have soap for every customer, whether it's low income, middle income, high income class, male, female, children, everybody. They have something for them. So if you look for an option, you look for a Unilever soap only, bathing soap. You say, no, I don't. Whatever you find, you say, oh, there is an option. So that's what they have done. Not every company can do that. It's difficult. But yeah, it's not impossible. That's what we can say. So we can always try for that. Then another reason for strategic marketing is shortening product life cycle. The life cycle, are you aware of the product life cycle?
Yeah.
The introduction, growth, maturity and decline. Right. Now that period between introduction and decline is becoming shorter and shorter. Why? Because of this disruptive innovation, disruptive technologies. You develop a product today, it can become obsolete after 2 years. What do you do? That's why you have to keep an eye on the target market and everything. Maybe you also innovate. So that's why strategic marketing. Okay. So what is strategic marketing? Simply we can put it in a word that when market driven strategies are followed, this is strategic marketing. So market driven strategies are the basic thing. It should be market driven and not product driven. That's a difference. There are some strategies which are product driven. Product driven means I am a company, say I manufacture an X product. Now I already manufactured. Now I say, okay, now how do I sell it? That's product driven. On the other hand, I have a market driven. I say, okay, what does customer want? I manufacture the similar product that customers want and then try to sell it. That's market driven. A product driven is you already have a product. Now what can you do? You cannot change your product. Somehow you have to sell it. Run promotions, do something, get rid of this product. How do I sell it? This was an old strategy, product driven strategies. Today is more about need or market driven strategies. Now I am not discussing all those. This is something I'm not talking. There are some details which you can go through your study guide. I'll only focus on the core issues, I think. Just a difference between strategic marketing and the earlier marketing philosophy. Time frame, you see, strategic marketing is long range or long term. The normal marketing used to be day to day, or you think of a decision only for 1 year. This 1 year, how I am going to run. Decision process for strategic marketing is primarily bottom up. Bottom up means marketing executives which are there in the market, they give you the feedback. Depending upon that feedback, you make strategies. It's not that people sitting at the top level management say, no, okay, let me change the strategy. If they're not even aware what is happening in the market, they make strategies. That is basically the top-down approach that used to be followed earlier. But somehow, this is we are talking about ideal. Remember, all these modules talk about ideally what should happen. I started my career with a multinational company and I had a very bad experience with the first, the national level meeting that we had. And the meeting was very surprising. I did my MBA and I didn't have much experience, but I all had the theoretical knowledge and everything. So there was this meeting happening, and the meeting was all about increasing the price of a cigarette, whether we should increase or not. That cigarette at that time used to cost, say for example, 1 rand, and they wanted to increase it to 1.25. Now that was the plan of the management. And they were taking the reviews from us. I thought it was wonderful. Bottom up approach. They're asking us because we go to the market. Okay. So they asked. I think there were 25-30 people, from representing different regions. I was maybe sitting at the 14th or 15th place. So the first person said, do you agree? Yes. 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 So I was this was my first meeting. Remember, it was my only 4th or 5th month. There comes me, I said no. Now, manager, what? But why? I said, sir, I feel there's a huge problem because the Indian market is such they don't buy the entire packet. Normally, many people will go to a small kiosk and buy only 1 cigarette, smoke it and come back. You see your office, you go down the office, go out of the office, you'll find a small kiosk somewhere. You can lit a cigarette, buy one and throw it. Why? Because most people feel that they won't smoke many cigarettes because of that. They just have a break, go outside the office, have a break and come back. I said, when they buy one, there will be a huge problem. Where will they get that 25 cents from? So this can be a problem, and because of that, competitors may win over. So he said, okay, this is the first time I am seeing who are you. I told this is my name and this is the region I represent. He said, okay. How long have you been working with this company? I said 5 months. He said, okay. My experience is 25 years. This is what he says now. And I feel the price should be increased. Now what do you say? I say, okay, increase. And now, it was supposed to be a bottom-up approach, but it was top-down. Basically, they were trying to force.
So why ask the question then?
So, yeah, then all the meeting went over, but still, in the end, they still asked, do anybody has a question? Now, I was trying to stop myself, no, not to raise my hand, but somehow I said, he said, yeah, what? I said, so I feel that can be, that 25 cents can be a problem. He said, you are such a negative person. Why don't you think they are going to buy the entire packet, or they will buy 4 cigarettes? So they'll have to spend 5 rands, for example. 1.25 into 4 is 5. They will buy at least 4, or they will be forced to buy 4 or the entire packet. I said, but that's not the trend. Normally they only buy 1, most of the customers. He said, how do you know? I said, he said, how much experience? I said, it's only 5 months, but I said, I also read an article. He said, no, that's the problem. That's the problem, with these young MBA graduates. You read all those funny articles and come here. I am telling you with my experience that it is going to. I said, no, then it's fine. You asked me, that's why I raised this question.
So
and he was very unhappy. After the meeting, he called me separately. And then he was trying to say, how dare you say no to my proposition? And only a 5th month. And then immediately, with immediate effect, I was transferred to a different location. And he said, okay, and it was 7 in the evening. He said, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, you report there. I said, but, already my headquarters is 500 km away. And all my stuff, everything is 500 kilometers away. I've only come with, maybe prepared for 2 days of meeting. So I don't care. Go. You have no other options. Go to that remote location. And then I waited that what happens. And the price never increased. I said, then why did you transfer me? then there was a good senior colleague. He came to me and said, Rajesh, what is your problem? I agree. I also agree with what you said. But please try and understand this. Boss is always right. He said there are only 2 rules in the corporate that works here. There's rule number 1, boss is always right. Rule number 2, if you don't agree, refer rule number 1. So he says, boss is going to be always right. So, just don't argue, man. Just enjoy your life. How will it make difference to your life, man? Now you created problems for yourself, isn't it? You should have also said yes and then go back home, enjoy, relax. He says, man, you need to understand this. So, you go with the flow. If you've seen everybody saying that, you also do the same thing. So that's the hard way I learned sales. That was my first meeting, and after that I learned how to deal with that things. So I tell you, this was subsidiary of Philip Morris, Marlboro Cigarettes, a multinational, everything, but the culture still top-down approach. So it's easier said that you have a bottom-up approach. I tell you, all those people sitting at the top, they don't feel like that. They said, no, we know more than what you do. You know nothing. Who are you? Who are you, man? You are nothing. And I've learned that lesson till now. I know that, when in meetings, you don't speak your heart out. You have to look at what's happening around you. So you have to be, what should I say, politically correct or something. You have to talk about that. If you do like that, there is nobody on your side. Nobody speaks. They know that you are right, but they won't speak. So you find no friends, nobody talking about the real thing. So ideally this should happen, but I tell you, maybe there is still 10-20% of companies still do that. May not be every company, but ideally that should happen. Our relationships with the environment. Strategic marketing, consider that environment is constantly changing, it's dynamic. Dynamic means you need to keep changing. You should be very flexible. Then sensitivity to opportunities. Strategic marketing, you can have opportunity at any time. You have to look for opportunities in the market. There's an opportunity, just try to catch on to that. Organizational behavior, synergy achieved between different parts of the organization, horizontally and vertically. Now, what happened with in a normal traditional marketing management? People used to manage marketing department. You only have people from marketing to help you and assist you. Today they are talking about no. It's such an important function. You know, you should be constantly in touch with your research and development department. You know, R&D. You should be in touch with those people. And many times, you know, it's good to form a team, sort of a finance. You should understand that, you know, does your company have the financial strength to go for some sort of an innovation or not? So R&D, finance, marketing, then HR. You know, HR people. You talk to them that this is what you want, the kind of people. So you know, all that they work as a synergy. It's not that you work in your own silos. That no, I don't know who you are. You know, separate. HR doesn't know who marketing people are. And I tell you, in big organization happens. People don't even know, because marketing people keeps on moving around. So when you come to the office, they say, "Oh, who you are?" I don't know who you are. So the nature of the jobs requires a high degree of creativity and originality. You know, that's what is required in strategic marketing. But in traditional marketing, they require maturity, experience, and control orientation. That's what I gave an example of myself. You know, it's sort of a maturity, because they feel that out of their experience, they know everything. Because I am saying so, that has to be implemented. It's not dependent upon the information and data. That used to happen, but not in today's time. It's more about, you know, taking advantage of the data. So big data analytics has become really important in today's time. You know, you have all the data and information, but to analyze, I still tell you, more than 70% of the companies won't be utilizing the data that they have. They don't know how to analyze it. That's why there are big companies who are doing data analytics, analytical companies. And I think that's a rare talent. If you have it, I think companies will just hire you like anything. It's a big, huge area. I met one guy who was talking, and it was so wonderful that the way he was talking about, and he said, you know, because the way McDonald's functions, they are basically franchise stores. So he told me about 2 different locations, McDonald's, this and this. You know, you won't see this after 6 months, this 2. I said, how this? He said, we are analytical, that's our analysis. If I go wrong, then tell me. I said, but how? He said, just look. And he was so correct. 6 months, they vanished. I said, how do you find out that? He said, when you analyze, there are so many factors. You know, the different, you know, within that area, there are so many others eating outlets being open. And the way they function, they are not changing. They are rigid staff. You know, they are not friendly. And the amount of other competition they are having within that market, they you know, they won't be able to survive. Even if they survive, they will be suffering huge losses. So you know, you can do analytics and find out so many things. And leadership style is basically proactive. You take a proactive decision. You know that customer taste and preferences are changing, so you change your product accordingly. Why to wait for somebody else to change and then you follow theirs? You know, because it's Indian telecom industry, that's what happened. There are so many European companies that vanished from India. They were big companies. Even Vodacom, you know, they're struggling in India. Why? Such a big company, huge company. Why they are struggling? They fail to anticipate that somebody can do this. And now they have also brought down the charge. You know, the rates have gone down for them also. Why can't they do it earlier? So it was a reactive decision. They reacted, not proactive. If they have done that, you know, the Reliance group, I think they would have thought twice what to do, because there was a wide option available to them. Throw a small, you know, a price which anybody can and everybody can afford. Just go for it. So that's strategic marketing. Now we go to a more detailed thing. Interestingly, you know, whatever we were discussing till now is called the modern view of marketing. And the person who suggested this more often is Philip Kotler, one of the professors, you know. If you Google his name, if you try to find the textbooks, you'll find many textbooks written by Philip Kotler. one of the pioneers of modern marketing. He suggests so many things. But he's not the only person, isn't it? Philip Kotler, he's a very, he's a renowned professor. But, so what we have done is, we have tried to identify the different ideas and views on marketing. The first idea is of the modern marketing of the Philip Kotler. The second idea is of Stephen Brown. Now Stephen Brown wrote an article in HBR long time back, and he talks about retro marketing, the old fashioned way of doing marketing. He says modern marketing is not suitable for all the products in all the markets at all the times. For some products, some markets it may work, but not all the products all the times. That's what Stephen Brown says. And the third idea we take from Steve Jobs. It's a sort of a combination of Stephen Brown and Philip Kotler. So these are the three different views on marketing. So we should not have a blind view that, okay, this is the only view. No. There's retro marketing, there's modern marketing, and there is a path in between. So you have to decide which view you have, right? So there is an article, torment your customers, they'll love it. This is by Stephen Brown, which talks about retro marketing, the old fashioned way of doing marketing, you know. So Stephen Brown, his article, torment your customer, they love it, talks about retro marketing. He is of the view that modern marketing is not required for all the products, all the segments at all the times. You can easily find this article if you go to this link, or if you Google it, you will find this article. It's a very nice article. You can go through the entire article. We'll discuss some briefly about this article. His views are marketers spend all their time slavishly tracking the needs of buyers and meticulously crafting products and pitches to satisfy them. He says there is no need to run after customers, man. Try to identify that. He is of the view, you have a product, you can sell it to the customer. You should have that selling ideas, salesmanship to sell this. He says it's very easy, what customer wants. You want X, I say, okay, have it. You will take it. What is the great art in that? He says marketing people have lost the art of selling. The art of selling is, even if you're bald, you are able to sell a comb or something. That's sales. You can say that, even if you start using it, maybe, yeah, your blood flows nicely, and then you will start growing hairs, and it will be lovely, and something. You can start doing it. He further says, my friend, it's gone too far. The truth is, customers don't know what they want. They never have, they never will. That's a very interesting comment. If somebody comes to you and asks, that, okay, now what do you want in your smartphone? What do you want in your television? What do you want in a car? Many times, maybe not everybody is aware that what do they want. So how can they tell to the company that what do they want? So where is the research coming from now? Our entire modern view was based upon that customers want different products. But they're not aware. So if you ask them, so they don't know. If they don't know, then the entire concept of modern marketing doesn't hold so good. The wretches don't even know what they don't want. As the success of countless rejected bifocus group products, from Chrysler's minivan to the Sony Walkman, readily attest, a mindless devotion to customer means Me Too products, copycat advertising, campaigns, and marketplace stagnation. So he's talking about, it's copycats, you just follow what they want. It doesn't work that way. He says that's not creative. There's nothing creativity in that. So this is his view now. It's quite interesting. Brown suggests that it's time to get back to an earlier marketing era, to the time when marketers ruled the world with creativity and style. It's time to break out the snake oil again. It's time for retro marketing. He says, have some art, man. Try to persuade customers with selling tricks and selling ideas and marketing ideas. That's what he's trying to suggest. So Brown further argues that marketing doesn't serve demand, it creates it. He said you can create demand. You have a product and you can create a demand for the product and sell it. Now this is always an argument, whether marketing serves demands or it creates demand. It's always an argument. He is of the view that you can create demand. You develop a product first and then try to sell it through your marketing ideas. That's what the true marketing is. Another idea, just think about it now. He talks about retro shock and retro marketing. These days marketers aim to make life simple for the consumer by getting goods to the market in a timely and efficient manner so that they are available when and where they are wanted at a price people are prepared to pay. Could anything be more boring? He says it's very boring, By contrast, retro marketing makes them work for it by limiting availability, by delaying gratification, by heightening the expectations, by fostering an enigmatic air of unattainability. It doesn't serve demand, it creates it. That's why you say sometimes there's a limited edition. You find that sometimes limited edition. What does that mean? There's only 50 of these. Buy this or you won't get it. People are running. That's what marketing is. Retro marketing is, So this, sometimes that's a marketing tricks, You make it sort of that, it's limited. Sometimes, you say it's a limited time offer. It's only a valid till 31st. People are running for it. What? That's just a marketing. What company can't just give it after 31st? They can give on first also, man. What's so special about it? Just to create that, that's the marketing ideas. So that's a Stephen Brown. He's very interesting. So how to get a retro is also suggested by Brown through his 5 principles: exclusivity, secrecy, amplification, entertainment, and tricksterism. The reverse acronym for tease. These principles are in contrast to different principles of modern marketing. Marketing has become a sober-sided discipline. It has lost its sense of fun. It has forgotten how to flirt. He says, come on, man. Have some fun with what you do. So, it's interesting. So, now the principles of retro marketing. The first thing is exclusivity. Customers crave exclusivity. Retro marketing eschews the here it is, come and get it, there's plenty for everyone. Proposition the modern marketing by deliberately holding back supplies and delaying gratification. You want it, can't have it. Try again later. That's what you do. Exclusive, man. It's only available for few people. And you as a customer, it's always that you run after that. Oh, only few, no, I should have it. Long time back, 1970s, Coke, because of, protectionism and nationalism policies, Coke was, banned in India, that you cannot sell. What happened? People used to keep the Coke bottles, in their living room and all that. And when somebody comes, they show, see, we were able to drink Coke. This is how it used to look like. You don't have it. We have this bottle. See the sense. So there's a sense, that I have it, you don't have it. It's limited. Sometimes, that some celebrities, or say for example, what is some soccer star signs something and give it okay, autobiograph T-shirt or something, exclusive. Not everybody can have it. So you say okay. So that's how, this exclusivity. Advantage is, first, exclusivity helps you avoid excess inventory. You don't make it until the customer begs for it. So no problem of inventory, no dead stock. It's not that stock is lying, it's not selling. Why? Because you are delaying the gratification. Customers say, okay, let me advance book it. I book it, I say, okay, please have this, I want. And you say, okay, you will be delivered next month. You are at ease, no problem of inventory. You only manufacture once you get the order. Once you know that your customers want that. Wonderful. Still Apple, see Apple, why when the new iPhone comes in, people are queuing up. They are wonderful. Why can't they just sell, make it available easily? If they make it available very easily to everybody on the first day, it won't sell like this. They're making it, trying to make it exclusive. Oh, you have it. I've already got Apple i10 now. You don't have it. Exclusive.
So with that exclusivity, sometimes it's, maybe all the time, it's perception driven. Because with Apple, I don't know how true this is, but they say sometimes when they roll out a new product, you see those things we see where people wake up early in the morning to go and line up on iStores. Sometimes they say some of those people are paid to do that. So that creates a perception that since
He may be a better person, you know. Somebody who worked for Apple.
So you must tell us.
Somebody who works for Apple. That's insight.
Yes and no. So
Yes, tell.
in the South African industry, no.
Yeah.
Because, but in the States it does happen. They do have a few people.
Yeah.
But also remember that Apple's whole thing, their marketing is so good, it makes you buy the product before the thing even comes out. Like they spread the rumors. The rumor sites will say iPhone 10 is coming out, it's got X, Y, Z, and you're already like jumping at it. You're already sold. You're already in the queue.
Yeah.
So
They're doing retroma. I tell you, that's retroma. Just you are running after the product, man. They don't have to worry about the thing.
They already convinced you before the product even came out, like the iPad and that. Nobody even knew that that technology actually existed. But there were people like Microsoft that had other tablets and things like that. But because of the strong marketing, you already bought an iPad. You didn't even consider what the other players were doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this yeah, it may happen. Yeah. You know, there is a retailer very similar to this iPhone. There is a retailer in India, and they run as exclusive deals on 2 times a year. They started only 1 time a year. That will have a, you know, like a Black Friday sort of a thing, huge amount of discount. And in their style of, you know, they have a very peculiar style. What they say is, you know, the old newspapers that we have. In India, there's a trend, almost every household, they buy a newspaper. We don't have that trend here, but that's every home, you know. In the morning in India, if you don't read a newspaper, your morning has not started. Something like that, I tell you. Yeah, especially for those who are educated and, you know, those people. For me also, when I was in India, it was like, now my habit has changed, but at that time, it was like in the morning, the first thing is, you know, you go to your, you know, the doorsteps, you find, okay, there's a newspaper, you bring it, yeah, your day starts. At least, you know, just going through, at least 10 minutes you go through that. And what the company did was, because they knew that everybody has a newspaper, what do you do with the newspaper? You have to ultimately, you know, get rid of the newspaper somehow. What do you do with that? You throw it away. They said, no, don't throw it. Bring it. They were paying, I think, some 2 or 3 rand per kilo or something to bring it. Now what people are doing is, they are making, okay, after, and the 1 year, I'll have this. Or like people are filling the cars with, you know, the boot, the entire boot is full now. They're bringing their entire stuff. Okay, because why? They will get 100 rands. Now the strategy is they don't give you cash. They give you a discount. Say if you buy something on 500, out of that 100 will be discount and you pay 400, and that's what, okay. So now you're already driven, because now you're preparing for that one time. And that is, I think it was Independence Day. You know, that sense of, and then they related it to sense of nationalism and something that, you know, we want to contribute to the society. It was nothing to the society. It was a pure marketing tool. Yeah, and people were, all the newspapers, they are running. And what you can see is, 6 o'clock in the morning, they are waiting for the store to open at 9 o'clock. They are waiting outside with all the newspapers. And people in the queue. Hundreds, 200 people standing. They know they have already sold them. And that was a huge success. Now they thought it's only 1 time. Let us make it 2 times now. They started another day. There's a Republic Day. They say, okay, Independence Day, now Republic Day. So, and slowly, I think now they have started 3 days. So now it's, so that's pure marketing, man. That's just, you know how to sell. So our second advantage is it allows buyers to luxuriate in the belief that they are the lucky ones, the select few, the discerning elite. You know that, oh, exclusive, I only have it. It's only a few people who have this. Like promoting exclusivity is a standard practice in the motor industry, limited edition car or limited edition something, that just comes. So that's the first principle. Second principle is the secrecy. Whereas modern marketing is upfront, above board and transparent, retro reveals in mystery, intrigue and covert operation. Not really covert, but yeah, they do not reveal everything. Consider the classic secret recipes that have helped to purvey all sorts of comestibles, Coca-Cola, Heinz ketchup, KFC. There's like many of these. You don't know what is the recipe for that. Is that great a secret? Nothing great. But they want to keep it a secret. Why? Because people say we don't know what is the secret behind Coca-Cola. It cannot be a big secret. Or behind KFC. You look at KFC, the history, and the person who started the KFC, I think he started that after his retirement. And after, I think he failed and then he became successful. I don't know whether he had his own formula of making the chicken and all those things. But now nobody knows what is that formula, and they want to keep it secret like that way. Yeah, nobody knows that. We have some wonderful secret. What is so wonderful secret? That's how. Similarly, many times, like blockbuster Hollywood movies also, sometimes they'll just show you the trailers, and then say, okay, the rest you have to come and see in the theaters, that you create that sort of an air that through trailers they want to create that environment. Oh, you don't know what is going to happen. So that's how, secrecy. Keep things secret. Why? Because customers get interested. A wonderful advertising idea I saw one time. There was this first page of like a Sunday Times. The entire what they had was only one dot, entire paper, one dot, and written, follow this, to find out what this is for, something like that. You follow the next day, something more comes, then say follow. It continually comes for 1 week, and then you find out, about that company. So now they are creating interest. Every day you are waiting now, what is going to happen next day? Like, it's cost a lot of money, but they did that. So it was like, and it was nothing like it was Procter and Gamble or somebody coming out with a new washing powder. What's so great about that? But they created an environment that, so that's, the third principle is amplification. To ensure that a hot ticket or cool item is talked about, and more important, the talking about is talked about. It's just to create that environment. Everyone is talking about that product. Good or bad, it creates a good feeling. People talking. So you want to amplify. You want everybody to know about your product. In a world of incessant commercial chatter, amplification is vitally necessary, and it can be induced in many ways beyond just mystery. There's nothing like a little outrage to attract attention and turn a tiny advertising spend into a mega budget monster. Another powerful amplifier is surprise. An unexpected marketing campaign can send shockwaves through the media, as when Pizza Hut paid to have its logo placed on the side of a Russian rocket. Do something very different. You amplify. Why? Then everybody will be talking about that. I think Virgin Group, I again remember that example when they said that they are trying to start transporting people to space, and I think and they talked about there's a guarantee that will take you there, but no guarantee that you come back. Nah, and I think so. And I tell you, those huge people were excited even then. They want to go to the space and see what it looks like. And so there's an ambitious plan, and so all these things are like amplification. People are just interested. Like people talking about that in future there can be a life on Mars. If there is a life on Mars, people have already talked about it. They will develop colonies on Mars, and trying to sell plot of land on Mars. Now, I tell you, if a company say tomorrow comes and tells okay, the plot is available on Mars, you can get a position after 10 years. I tell you, there are some people who will book that. Because they feel that maybe the earth may, you may not be able to live on this earth, and then you can go to Mars. You don't know the condition of Mars, but even then,
Yes.
they say the temperature is extremely cold, minus 40, 50 something on an average, but they say you can live in that temperature. But how? We all don't live in Canada, so anyways, or the Russian where you can survive in those. But yeah, that's how people do. So amplify. Then entertainment. Marketing must divert, it must engage, it must amuse. Entertainment is in many ways is the essence of retro marketing, and the lack of it is modern marketing's greatest failure. You should entertain. The marketers of Hollywood, not surprisingly, have been resolute holdouts. The website to promote the remake of Planet of Apes, for example, contain elaborate treasure hunt. You do something, very interesting, fun, where people get involved. So that's entertainment. Many times you see, certain company, when I go to this mall, across, many times I find some people doing very interesting stuff. Huawei, when they launched their mobile phones, they had a sort of, I still remember that, it was 3 years back or something. They had, created a small maze, and and in between places they have hidden certain features of Huawei mobile phone. They say after the maze you come out and you have to talk about all those features. If you are able to recall and call it, we give it a gift. Yeah, it was sort of fun. So I went there for fun. So my friend told me it's fun to go there, man. I went once. I said, okay, let's go. What's there? I went there. They asked. It was pretty simple, because he already told me that he'll ask you. So because I knew that they are going to ask me, so you have that attention. Then look. Then they said, okay, you have to repeat only 5 features. Here it is, and you get a very good gift. You say, oh, it's interesting. So you make it fun, interesting, and the interesting way was why they want that. Now the 5 features are there in your head. They want you to repeat it, and when you are repeating, 10 other customers are also listening. So at least it's going to your head. They are listening. All those things. Quite interesting way of doing things. Now that's entertainment. And finally, tricksterism, playing tricks. Marketing must deal in tricks. The tricks don't have to be particularly elaborate. There's an old example. A particularly sly bit of tricks was served up by the makers of Tango, a fruit juice soda popular in the UK. In 1994, the company bought advertising time and used it for what appeared to be a public service announcement. Its marketing director warned viewers that some rogue supermarkets and convenience stores were selling a knockoff the brand. It could be detected because it was not fizzy, and asked them to report the miscreant outlets by calling a special toll-free hotline. Apparently, some 30,000 people rang up only to be informed that they had been tricked as part of the company's promotion for a new non-carbonated version of the drink. You can play some tricks, play some fun tricks. People remember them. Oh, this is what the company did. There was a campaign by Pepsi. Pepsi and Coke are equal competitors in the world market. South Africa is a unique market for Pepsi, where they don't have the almost equal market share with Coke. Most of the parts of the world, they have equal market share, I tell you. They are head to head. So there was a campaign, and it was very interesting. They were trying to find out whether people buy a brand or they are really interested in the taste of that drink. What they said, they removed the branding from that. It was without any label. There was Pepsi and all that was there. They say you identify, drink it and identify whether it's Coke or Pepsi. Interesting, and they were giving a t-shirt, a cap, sport shorts, something, all those stuff. And in fact they kept 3. One was Coke, Pepsi, and there's another brand, I cannot remember. There was 3 brands. You identify. Even if you identify 2, you get a t-shirt. If you identify all 3 correctly, you get all 3. It's very interesting. I still remember, because that's quite interesting way of doing things. I went there, and at that time, because every day I was drinking, so I was able to, the first one I was able to identify. The second one was just, because there are choice of 2 others. That was just, I said, no, this is Pepsi. Because at that time I knew that Pepsi is a bit sweet in taste, sweeter than Coke. That's how I identified and got that one. So it's that sort of you get involved. You try to get involved people into something, and they don't even know what they are doing. They are just interested. There was another company who did a wonderful thing. It was like, in a mall. It was like in the center there was a huge area, and it was like round and round, and in center it was entire open, and it was 10, 12 floors. So the 12th floor, they asked you to jump down. It was like something called Dare. I don't know which event that was, and obviously they had that. Before that they'll measure your blood pressure. How is your blood pressure? Then you say, do you dare to jump? If you jump, there was nothing that you get a T-shirt and a certificate, and it was a drink which was called that which represents that. What is the name of the drink? I cannot remember. It was the name of drink which talks about that you have to be you have to take this kind of activities, and you should do all this kind of activities. That you don't fear anything, fearless people or something. So then there was people, and when I saw in 12th floor, when you look down, it's a bit scary. It looks, and then say you take this something. There was something belts and something. You jump, but nothing happens, because it's all precautions. But still people fear, Normal people, when you ask them, it's not a bungee jumping that you just, and not everybody can do that. So they asked. So and I was there on a tour, an educational tour with the students. So now sometimes what happens is when the students are around, you have to show that you still are young and energetic, So they were jumping, then say, you also jump. From inside I had a big fear that you jump, but to show them that no, I'm still young and energetic, I said, okay, I'll also do that. And then you jump. So these kind of things you remember then. You associate your brand. These are tricks that you can play. So this all are different ideas, that marketing. That's retro marketing. That's not modern marketing. That's retro marketing. So now I have a small question. Now what we just, on the basis of what we just discussed, do we serve demand or can we create demand? What do you feel?
I think mostly we are serving the demand, more than creating demand.
Well, I think we create the demand.
Okay.
So, because with, for example, what we're doing, the MBA, I didn't know there was such a thing called an MBA when I was in grade 12 or anything, but I had to learn about it with people who I aspired to be, and then I knew that these guys had MBAs or something. And so it created that thing in me that I wanted to do an MBA. So I think it's created and then you serve it.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Okay. I think both can be achievable. You can serve demand, depends on the market on ground, and creating it also gives an opportunity of you having a share of the market to understand.
Okay. What do you feel?
Okay.
My view is you create the demand.
Creating it.
You create the need and then give them product. So if you look at DSTV, DSTV doesn't advertise that you can get access to this content or that content. They simply saying if you don't have it, you're losing out. So they create the demand. When you want it, they're there to satisfy that need. But if you serve just the demand created by anybody else, your product may be misaligned. But if you create the demand, you create a demand that's aligned to specifically your product that only you can fulfill.
Interesting. Okay.
I think both. I think traditionally we used to serving demand. But I think that the change is becoming, especially with the fourth industrial revolution and everything, the way everything is going is creating now demand, showing the value before the consumer actually knows about thinking of something like that.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah, please.
say why I'm saying serving the demand? Truly, most companies today, I believe, it's the easiest way out of business is to serve the demand or to create demand. You don't find industrialists anymore. Everything that's coming up now is something that's being done. It's just being done. Yeah, it's just doing things better. DSTV, OpenView HD. For those who couldn't afford, you're just serving the demand. But it would be nicer to create the demand because now you will keep the market for longer. But now it's all about doing something better. I know you need to have a phone. I know iPhone is expensive. I'm keeping you away. Exactly, we're just serving the demand. I think that's what not all of them, but most companies are doing that. It's rare that you find brand new products in the market. Like, it hasn't been done before.
Okay.
I think we're coming to an age where people are starting to exhaust those ideas of coming up with something new. It's been there, we're just doing it better. So the demand is already there, just finding a new way to serve it.
Okay. Yes, as such, there is no right or wrong in this. Depending upon the product, the market, you can create also, and maybe you can serve also. It depends. So, I think modern marketing goes more with serving demand. So you just identify that need and then you develop a product and then just try to satisfy that. In fact, retro marketing is more about creating, because you have a product and then you say, okay, I'll get some ideas to get it sold. You are confident enough that you can sell it. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So, but remember one thing: a need is there. Somewhere it may be a hidden need, a latent need, or something is there. See, need is very something. We discussed about need of food, clothing, shelter, belonging, communication, transportation. All those are different needs. But people want a different product to satisfy these needs. And that's where, as marketing guys, we need to think, okay, that's what modern marketing says. Try to find out new ways of, serving that need. How can you develop a product which is better than all products which satisfy the need presently? People have got very strange ideas now. I was reading an article where they were talking about, the problem of this food grains and vegetables and all that. They're already talking about maybe you don't need food. You start eating those capsules, Okay, 2 for the breakfast, 3 for lunch, again 2 for evening snacks or something. So it's like everybody has a small packet now. Okay, you breakfast. Okay, you don't waste your time in the kitchen. There's not bulky. Okay, you carry in your pocket, have it. Don't waste time. You save time, save energy, all that. It gives you the required energy. So they say that in the future maybe that can be an option. And so different people coming out with so many different ideas to satisfy the same, because we need food. Because food is basically because we are hungry, we need food. They say, okay, have this capsule, you won't be hungry. I said, okay, then let me have it now. Now, what happens to people who eat it not because they are hungry, because they love the taste? There are many people, I tell you, you do it because you love the taste, especially the sweets, the ice creams, and all those stuff, or the cakes and ice creams. It's not that you are hungry. I feel there is a special space in the stomach for these things, for ice creams. Even if you are full, somewhere it can just go and settle down. So that's how ice cream is. I haven't seen somebody who doesn't like ice cream. Most of the people, sometimes or the other, they will have ice cream. That's just so. Okay. Now the view of Steve Jobs. As you know, Steve Jobs is also a very creative person, and the way he created Apple and his marketing style and everything is very interesting. So Steve Jobs avoided most focus groups like the plague Apple argues that most customers don't know what they want in a new product. Now, this is also what Stephen Brown also said. But they say they don't know what they want in a new product. Earlier version you can say, okay, you already have a smartphone. You say, no, I don't want these features, I want these 2 more features. It's easy to identify those. But if you identify a new product which you are not aware of, you don't know what to expect. If Apple had asked customers what they wanted in the iPad, for example, it would have been closer to the Microsoft tablet rather than the iPad of today. They wanted something new. Apple builds few products and then uses marketing to drive customer to its offering. So it's not a traditional, this is not a modern marketing view. This approach is contrary to some of the discussions we had thus far. This is different to the pure modern marketing. So they have the product and then they use marketing to get through those products.
Okay, so then one thing, because creating it for people, like Apple, what they did, if you look at the product they came on board, they are sophisticated gadgets. They're not like other, they have that, because it's not only about maybe imposing it on us. The product they impose on us satisfies us, especially in terms of the values we get from it. That product you don't even buy, what do you call it, antivirus on them and all that, and a lot of applications, and they close them. There are certain, so they keep you within their range. So whereby most of the applications you need, like certain softwares, you cannot put it on your Apple product, but they still have that product, any of the applications you want on another of their gadget or their item, whereby apps are where you buy. So on that area, I was just thinking when you were discussing about the last slide, that we're forced to buy their product because their product satisfies us, not because we know it before.
Yeah,
that's my view.
Yeah, that's wonderful marketing. Now we have to think in terms of marketing. Their marketing is wonderful, wonderful marketing.
So on that side, what do you call, is that a business level strategy? That's why I think, or is it corporate?
I think for the app, it's a corporate level. I think for certain companies, if you are not diversified, so your corporate level and business level strategies are the same.
Okay.
Because Apple only deals in this products. They don't have a range of, like they only deal with electronics and these products. I think that Apple, even their TV, they are bringing in all that, they are related to similar kind of products. So they are into the same industry. Okay. So arguably in some industries, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. Apple uses the ultimate focus group themselves. We figure out what we want. When something appealed to Jobs and his team, it appealed to a vast number of people outside of Apple, enough to make products highly popular and very profitable. What a strategy. Now this is purely, I haven't heard about this earlier. So it's like market research within your own company. You say, okay, this is my product, do I like it or don't like it? Like a focus group interview, you talk to your own people, do they like it? Yes, okay, let's manufacture this. Like quite a wonderful way. It's a very different way of approach. Because what they are talking about is that because people don't understand that product, how will you get feedback from the people about a new product? They have never come across that product earlier. You can get a feedback if they are already aware about that product. They say, okay, delete this feature, delete this function, add this feature. That's what they can do. So what is the concept of customer needs? Apple listens to its customers every day. However, the real secret behind Apple's innovations comes not from listening to users, but from introducing its customers to a completely new way of thinking about solutions for their problems. In no way is he recommending that you stop listening to your customers. He is advocating that you get closer than ever to your customers. So close, in fact, that you tell them what they need well before they realize it themselves. So what is that trying to say is you go to a level where you suggest your customers that, okay, you are using this product. Why are you using this product? Okay, this is why, because it is giving a solution to a particular problem. You are using it for this particular, satisfying this need. Okay, no, you say, I suggest you a solution, a better solution. to satisfy this need. Okay, here is my product, buy this. That's what Apple is doing. So that's what his idea is. So now you see, Steve Jobs is a different perspective altogether. Now he doesn't say that you don't listen to the customer or you don't identify what he needs, but he's trying to say that, go closer and try to even get his feedback that, okay, if I can satisfy this need with this product, will you buy this? It's like this. So this is a different way of putting the same thing in a different way. There's a different perspective. And now the Kotler's modern view of marketing. So the first view was retro, Stephen Brown. Then you have got Steve Jobs, and now you have Philip Kotler, whose modern view of marketing. Just have a look at what Philip Kotler says. See, basically, if you look at, this is a big video, and I think he did it in London Business School. He was talking about modern marketing. Basically, remember, he was talking about co-creating products with the customers. So if you talk about co-creation, it basically means you're trying to identify what do they want in a product. See, what is co-creation? You go to a customer and ask him, what do you want in a product, and you manufacture that. That's what co-creation is. It's not that you bring them to your factory and they build. You ask them what do they want, and then you change your product accordingly. So that's what he's suggesting, is going that way in modern marketing. So he's talking about all those creating, communicating, delivering value to a target market, a profit. This is what the definition he gives of the modern marketing. So creating products, creating, communicating, and delivering. So it's all about creating products what customers wants. And obviously communication is common to whatever sort of marketing you do. You have to communicate it to the customers. Delivering value, the customer management is okay. Delivering, you deliver value and to a target market at a profit. So basically the entire difference comes in this co-creation part. You understand the needs of the customers, what do they want in the product, and then you manufacture it accordingly. This is a big difference. So this is the modern view of marketing. We have the retro view of Stephen Brown, who says, you don't need all this. Why to go to the customer and ask what do they want? You bring out a product and do something that customers run after your products. And that is then Steve Jobs, who is talking about, you listen to the customers, in fact try to influence him. Say that, see, this is what can satisfy your need better. I have this better product, buy this one, man. This is what he is trying to suggest. Now, there's three different views. All are not suitable for all the products, all the segments. Different views may be suitable in different areas, different times. So it depends upon what is your company, what is your market, and which view is better. It's not always you go with Philip Kotler only or the modern view. Maybe you are better off when you have Stephen Brown also. And I tell you, we have been doing this activity for a long time, the last 3 years. And to my surprise, today we have a small group. I have even had big groups when we have 50-60 students, and we divided into 10 groups. And to my surprise, at least 5 or 6 of them, talked about that for their particular product, they will go with Stephen Brown, a traditional view. They said that's better suits us. Very interesting. We feel from outside that modern view of marketing is the best, maybe suitable. But I tell you, when you look, you'll find that no, it may not be the best strategy. So when you make your marketing strategy, it's not always that you think about this modern view only. You can think about Stephen Brown also, or Steve Jobs also. That's why, yeah.
There is a student that sent a message.
Okay. Now, I have a small interesting activity. Activity is, do you agree with Philip Kotler's view of marketing, Stephen Brown's, or Steve Jobs? You have to choose one of these products. Maybe you can work in groups. At least we can have 2 groups. We have only 5 people, so at least we can have 2 groups. You can choose one of these products. And what are you going to do? You are going to talk about which view, and then later on what you are going to do is, you will suggest the segmentation targeting strategy, differentiation strategy, positioning strategy, 4P strategy, keeping in mind your view and your product. That's how we'll do. So at the end of this tomorrow, you'll have the entire marketing strategy for that product with you. Yeah. So choose which. Maybe you can have one this group and you two can be in the same group. Or if you want yourself to be an individual group, you can do that as well. So choose the product. I think out of these two, only one is available, because these are very traditional products. Beauty care range of products and washing machines, they please only one of them is available, and not both of them are not available. Choose your product and then try to suggest which of these views is better suited and why. So I tell you, it is a very interesting activity once you do it. So you need to think.
So we choose one of the products.
Yeah.
We choose between the three.
Which one is? Yeah.
Which one is best suited for that?
Yes. Yes. So, yeah. Yes.
We need to do this exercise now.
Yes.
And then
Maybe if you want to do it now or after the lunch break, whatever you decide. If you want.
What do you need from us from this activity? You need to segment.
No, you don't have to say. You only have to suggest which view is better
Okay.
and why. So I think we do this activity and then we take a lunch break. That's once we are done with the segmentation part, then we'll discuss how we will do segmentation for a selected product and selected view. Now you cannot change your view, and you cannot change your product. This will remain the same. Because the way you do everything will change, keeping in mind whether you are taking Stephen Brown or Philip Kotler or Steve Jobs.
Just one product.
One product. Choose any of these. So what are you guys choosing?
We have to discuss it first. I don't know.
Take an interesting product, because beauty care range of products and washing machines are traditional products. So smartwatch, household robot, floating restaurant. Because the way robotics is coming in a big way, household robots are going to take over, I think. Then you don't need domestic help. Once the household robots are there, then no more domestic help is required. You're going for smartwatch.
Yes or no?
Ask meeting and secondly to say ask.
You can think of this floating restaurant. It's nice. It's a new not a common concept. You have a sort of it's like sort of a boat or a ship which is there on the water, and you have a restaurant on there. And so how do you make strategies for that? It is interesting, I tell you. See, if the first group chooses, it's an open option. If somebody chooses one, then you choose that option.
Yeah.
There are.
I agree with you.
There are.
Kind of.
So They haven't chosen. They are also thinking. So both of the groups are thinking of it.
The thing is, it's not that easy to choose the best.
The problem is, because we have two groups and five options. Normally what we have is
Five groups
and five options. So you only, and quickly people take, but they know they lose. So you have got choices.
It's just
For example, I would like to see watch that tells the balance. Transfer towards my wife, or transfer
So you want that, let's say,
but because it's not there, it's not there. It's about once you have it available,
No. Still the smartwatch. There's a traditional stuff. There's a really
What is the interesting maybe they may tomorrow they may replace your domestic help.
But if you go to house,
So they are doing the grooming.
because it's not there yet. You have to convince somebody. We have a house to convince them.
You see the long-term plans.
That's what he's saying.
Interesting, I think. Well, all the products are interesting. The first three products are very, very interesting.
This is example. And tell me she's the trends of 2,000 brands, other brands,
Choose out your robot, I think we can.
So
The need is there. People need to do domestic stuff you can trust. Because things are going missing. The domestic disappears after the much of hiring.
I think first, sorry.
Yeah, you can first and in the evening they can work as a security guard.
That's when my
And you know it's not going to steal food.
They're not going to train you. They don't go on a break also.
Yeah, you see, we charge it and then scotch.
It's there. You can rent it out to some others, to your neighbors.
So if you put the house on
Very, very interesting thing.
it's still something that's very good. Stealing brown. Not that I know of how much.
Maybe in China. Maybe in China.
Because it's still not commercially successful. I don't think
Yeah.
it's still not become a common thing.
So
I would like to have one. Maybe on a contract of 10 years or something. Just use it. It's not
Take that
possible.
but the young generation, they will catch on. You don't have to market it to So in his case,
Yeah, even if somebody breaks down, he can hit them nicely. There's nothing going to
This robot is a mega person. You can fight the security.
your washing, you can do all those stuff. Whereby you can start saying you want to plan hours, especially because of the fall.
But we need to be realistic, right? Because we want to spread this.
So
Like we go for what we say. We're going to choose segments. We're going to choose how many.
Yeah, but first choose your product. Right? First choose your product and then think about all
But
this.
this is going to catch us where household robot. Think of what industrial revolution. What's the new
So, welcome back after the lunch and let's continue from where we left. So, we have done, you've chosen your product, you've chosen the view. Now, a bit background about how the marketing concepts has developed over a period of time. The way we market today and the way we used to market earlier is very different. So, the marketing is evolving, the way we do marketing is evolving over the period of time. Quickly, I'll go through these concepts, how did it evolve. It all started with the production concept. Production concept was, that pre-industrialization time when there was hardly any industries. So, whatever you produce is automatically sold. Why? Because there is hardly any products available. Those were the times when there's no sales, no marketing. Just produce, it will be sold. Simple. Production was the focus. The focus changed from production to product when there was industrialization. Factories came up, people started to produce. So the focus was now on product quality. People say, okay, I have a product, let me manufacture a quality product. So the focus shifted on product quality. Again, when you have almost every manufacturer working on the product quality, there will be competition. So what happens is, basically some of the products won't be sold. So there were stocks. There was first time people thought, okay, you produce now, why it is not selling? Then the first time saw that it needs some selling effort. So the first time the selling concept came in. Why? Because some of the manufacturers found that produce is not selling. The product is just not selling. They said, okay, let us do some efforts to sell them. So it's the first time the selling concept came. Selling concept is you have a product and you just want to get rid of it. Something of that sort. Now, when everybody is doing the same, what is going to happen? Again, it gives a choice to the customers. Some products get sold. Still there will be some products which are not sold. Why? Because you have a product which customers don't want. It's not that customer will buy anything and everything. I don't want to buy a product. This is not useful for me. It's not satisfying my need. Why will I buy? So that's where marketing concept came in, and that's where people started to think that no, I need to identify the needs of the customers, manufacture or produce the same product, and then try to sell it. So it was not more just selling. Selling is like you have a product, you don't you don't really do any research. Just go manufacture a product and just get rid of it. Marketing is you do the marketing research first. Try to identify the need of the customer. Then manufacture the product according to the needs and then try to sell it. So that was how marketing concept came in. Still further, there is this concept of societal marketing. It was the first time when people realized that we are working in an environment where we need to take care of the society, the different stakeholders of the society. So you just can't produce and sell anything that you want to. You need to take care of the social network and the society under which we live. We need to do something like first time this cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Sometimes it's written there. So at least they became aware that you cannot produce and sell anything that you want to. So that's the societal marketing, taking care of the society. Then still further, the concept of relationship marketing. The first time the people realized that marketing is not just selling the product once. It's a relationship with the customer, a continued relationship. Creating brand loyal customers or lifetime customers, those kind of things came in and people started developing relationship. Different banks have got now relationship managers, there's a designation called relationship manager. Why? They want to develop relationships now. And now finally the new concept of this holistic marketing. Holistic marketing talks about, it's not just about profits or about a company. You take care of the society, you take care of the profit, you take care of your employees, you take care of your customers. It's holistic, So take care of all the different stakeholders in this world. Think about everybody, not just profit. So that's holistic, you think about everything. So now it's still evolving. I think this new age of fourth or the fifth industrial revolution, I think things, it's evolving. So how marketing will be done in the future is exciting to know. The more and more use of internet now, how will things change? Nobody knows. Every market is so very different. It's like in Korea. Koreans are very hard-working people. Like in South Africa, I think we work 5 days in a week, 8 hours a day. That's normal. Most of the times people work like that. Most of the Koreans will work 6 days a week, 14 hours a day. So now where is the time? People don't have time. So how do you market? How do you sell? Your strategies will be totally different. So they have got this interactive kiosks, even at like bus stations or like your metro stations. They have this interactive screens. So what's there? You do your shopping online there through your card and everything. By the time you reach home, you have your groceries and everything delivered to your place. So don't even have time to walk. It's not like that you can do in the office. You're sure? No, you are not allowed to do that. That's why you do when you're waiting for a bus or something. Do your shopping there. Go back home. You'll have it. So it depends upon which environment you are living in. So your marketing strategies will change. So in the future, a lot of change is going to come. So marketing is evolving. It's not the same. Then we have got international marketing, or where if you are working in more than one countries, obviously you need to think about international marketing, and it's all about understanding the international business. Then your strategies in a different country will be very different, isn't it? You have to look into the local market, look into the target market of that country, look into the environment, the political, economic, all those kind of environment you have to look in, and then decide your strategy. So that's the international marketing part. Now the increased importance of service. Data indicates that 2/3 of all economic activities in the US is service business. Now that's an indicator of an economy also. Look at any developed economy. The percentage of GDP coming from services sector will be more in a developed country. Underdeveloped country, contribution of services sector in the GDP will be very less. Sort of an indicator. Why? Because the more the advanced country and the more developed the country is, they want to have more and more services, isn't it? Like we are talking about your household robot, and all those things will become very common initially with the developed countries. You will have your own personal robots, household robots to do all your routine activities, cleaning and mopping and washing and dishes and preparing your food and everything. So all those things will be there. First it will come to the developed countries, then others will be able to afford that. Therefore services are continuing to be the fastest growing sector in the most other developed economies. So services sector is growing and growing. It will grow further. See, the telecom services are improving every day. The data, the internet speed is going to improve in the future. So things are improving. The telecom sector, the banking sector, all the sectors are going to improve further. IT, now new forms of social media platforms. Now this is becoming Twitter's, blog, and all those are becoming common now. People have started creating their own blogs now. I still remember, I was doing a small session with the BBA 1 guys. Those kids would come directly from the schools. You're doing one session, and then we did a session on how to create a blog, and all of them created a blog for themselves. It's so easy to create these days. You can start your own blogs. I think he's the IT guy. He would know that very well. It's so easy to create blogs, and the way we interact is changing. Provide rich sources of data which makes it increasingly easier to define market segment and therefore refine and customize product features, promotional information, prices and distribution strategies to fit these segments. The way things are changing. So the way you define your segments, there will be different people with different needs now. So you see the way the revolution is coming because of IT. You already see, there was a report I think last year, which was there by I think PwC, or I cannot recall. It was a big name who brought out that report, just talking about certain jobs that will be obsolete in South Africa in the next 5 years. So, and those jobs will be taken over by this robots, what do you call this, your artificial intelligence, and this is going to take over. So already in the automobile sector around the world, automobile manufacturing, certain factories hardly have any people. Entire factory you have less than 10 people. The factory is running. You only need people to operate the robots. Everything is done by the robots. You don't do anything. Everything is automated. Things are changing very fast. So the small things. Okay. I think this is in retail warehousing. The things that have been changing. No, you don't need really people. Orders come online. You give that Okado technology, which will fetch orders, bring it, fix it, prepare your packet. It will be delivered. So it's like no more human interface. You look at Amazon, the delivery. I think the way they have set the standards now. Delivery time of 4 hours. You give orders, they'll deliver in 4 hours in US. There are many prime locations or something. They call it prime customers or something, where they deliver in 4 hours. Now 4 hours is like, even if you go and visit a mall and come back, it will take you 4 hours. So if somebody is there to deliver that in 4 hours, now what the kind, so
The risk of going there and other activities within from your point.
So what they have done is, I think they have created many hubs, locations where they have this, it's spread out distribution. And so this moment come and there we are using all the technology, it comes, packs, it's like so fast. So the standards, now the standards are very high. So how do we compete now? Our brick and mortar stores like Walmart is facing a huge problem now. Why would a customer go to Walmart, go there, go to the macro, search for the, where to park, and then you go inside, do shopping, come back, all those struggle. Why do struggle, man? Just order online, it will come to you. So, and now what he was talking about, this e-commerce thing, it's like everybody can be a businessman now. You need to be just creative, be hands-on with the technology. You can really develop businesses. There have been a lot of startups that were started by IT people, people with the IT background and knowledge, and they started up. It became big and taken over by sometimes by Google and all those big companies. They take and then they buy all those companies, startup. Then again some new company comes in, they start up, they're successful, they're taken over by a big company. But ultimately these are the startups you see in the way IT has helped the startups. That's the technology, so that's how. We all know B2B, B2C and all those things. E-commerce is really spreading. Then the digital marketing. So the way you are using digital marketing platforms, the social media and other networks, to really market. Though this term digital marketing is a bit confusing, because basically what you do is, it's not a marketing, but it's basically digital promotions. It's not the 100% marketing, because marketing means right from research to sales to advertising to promotion, everything is marketing. So basically when you talk about digital marketing, we are more talking about digital promotions rather than the total marketing, isn't it? So but we use this term. It is very, very well accepted. But we don't do the full marketing, isn't it? We don't do the research, the sales, the advertising, everything. Maybe only a part of it is done. The data mining, it's important to take note of legal implications for digital marketing. Data protection acts apply to the collection and use of personal data online. Data mining, now this is becoming a big news these days, how our data is being shared without our knowledge. Facebook did that, a lot of other companies are doing it. Many times our banking details are shared. Why do they share? Definitely they would be getting some money, to sharing your data. But without our notice, without customers' notice, they are sharing our information. That's dangerous, but at the same time, this is happening. As a marketing person, you can do a lot of data mining, get a lot of understanding of the customers, the customer patterns. How do customers buy? Because we all use our cards. So, if somebody can trace your 2 years data, they will be able to tell you, even maybe you yourself won't know, how much do you spend on clothing, your groceries, on this, and when do you buy, how much do you spend, after your total income, how much do you spend on this, all somebody can easily create a profile of yours. It's very easy for companies to create a profile. They say, okay, out of the total spend that you made in the last 5 years, you spend 20% on clothing, or 20% on this, 30% on that. On this particular month, you buy this product. All that profile can be created. It's all data mining. You can do that. So that's a huge. It's coming in a big way now. So it is definitely there. Now, okay. So that's data mining. A lot of things are happening without our notice. We have to be ethical. I don't know how do we ensure that if that big a company can make a mistake, or I don't know whether it was they knew about it and then they told in public. It was so easy to come out and say sorry. You commit such a big thing and then you say sorry. It's so easy.
They knew about it because as an IT person. Up to now, if you go to Facebook, you know a fake account. The first thing is to create a software that will detect pictures. Now, one that there can be 5 accounts with the same pictures. They know about it, but they make money from those things. You understand? Because the activities of those guys makes them to make more money. So I think it's all about their profits. They knew about it. So if you think they are saying sorry, it's just a company like you said. You should know your end.
Yeah.
If I cannot break into a system like this, because like on the back end, if you cannot break into my back end, unless you have access to my password or you hack me, there's no way you can go into it. So if they say they don't know it, I think that's justified.
Look at a local example. Look at the banks who use unauthorized debit for us. The banks are doing it. Come on. You get 10 unauthorized debits. You go back, you reverse them, they charge you every time. Beautiful business.
So it's just making money.
Beautiful business. We are investigating. That's all you ever get. It never ends. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They send you information out there.
Yeah, that's happening. So data mining is a big thing, but at the same time, a lot of ethical issues are there, and so yeah. But for marketing guy, what is important is that you can do data mining and then make a lot of strategies based upon that. The more information that you have about your customer, definitely you can make better strategies. And social media networks, definitely, that's one of the medias which you can use to promote your product, isn't it? Now, social media is one of the media only. There are other medias also. So, but now it is becoming very popular. Our study guide talks about all those things. I am not going to this. You already know Twitter. I am not going to the detail of what is Twitter or what is Facebook and what this can do. Because commercially also, like Facebook marketing is, many companies do Facebook marketing because you can select your location, you can select the profile of the people you want to target. So you have your target customer in mind and the area. So I think Facebook can detect that and you can send messages to them. So I think that's what people are doing. YouTube ranked 2 on Alexa. YouTube is one of the most popular websites in the world. Approximately 3.25 billion hours of video are watched every month on YouTube. 300 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. This means that if you are not considering YouTube as a marketing channel, you are potentially missing out on a lot of customers. Obviously, yes, because anybody using internet would be using YouTube also. So it's a very good option available to marketers, YouTube. You should know how to do YouTube marketing. These days, you have got a lot of, for these functions have become so specialized that within the marketing function, you need these kind of experts, as a marketing manager, it's not that you know all this how to do that. You should know that you have got these options. Now see, please remember, try and understand this. It's not that you yourself start going and doing everything on your own. No, you can't do. But you should know that this is an option and you can hire people to do this. If I am the marketing manager, I cannot do everything. It's not that I can do research also, data mining also, using how to use Facebook marketing, LinkedIn marketing, everything. No. You cannot do all that. But you should be aware and you should have the knowledge that, okay, I have got these options now. So I can hire some people who can do this for me. Yes. So LinkedIn also, this social media is predominantly for B2B networking, and therefore marketing is more targeted. Even LinkedIn you can do. So I'm not really running these videos because I think all of us know how this works really. And we have an IT expert so IT experts would know. Mobile marketing, with an increasing percentage of consumers using the internet on the go, having a mobile version of a website helps a business reach out to consumers across all devices connected to the internet. That's why you have companies are coming out with their own apps these days. F&B will have its own app. This company will have its own app. You have to download the app. Or maybe you have this, version which plays well, website version on a mobile, so that it can work well on your mobile also. So that's how you have to make your products and make your marketing efforts to suit the needs of the customers. So what works back? So to ensure that customers and potential customers instantly land on the mobile version of the site when they are using their mobile devices, businesses must ensure their sites are mobile friendly. This is a new change that is happening, but it depends upon your target customers. Remember, everything is related to your target customers. If those are the people who have an access to the internet, they use mobile, then only this is useful, otherwise it's not useful. Not for all the products, not for all the segments, but yes, for some of the products, some of the segments you can do that. Mobile, tablet and other internet enabled devices like your smartwatches are personal devices that often form a large part of a company's digital marketing strategy. You can obviously use mobile marketing as well. So I think the way mobile marketing is also taking over, you need to understand what he's trying to say. That maybe not the websites. Mobile, you don't search for websites. That's what he says according to the data. He says people search more information through apps rather than through websites. So that's why he says when you think about mobile marketing, think about apps. So like if he says he must be having the data. So it is coming from the horse's mouth. So you can't say that he's wrong. So Apple most of the time they do the right things. So see.
Well, there are way too many apps now.
Yeah, too many. Yeah. I found an app which says you go to that app, it's like sort of acting as a host to 50 different ads. So it's you go to the app. Inside that app they have got 50 different apps. It's like now. So they are going into that area now.
I think that's where we're going to end up anyway.
Because you cannot. How many apps can you have? Yeah.
Space is a problem. You often have to delete one to upload another one.
Yes. So that's why I think that. So there will be apps. You enter that app, which will take you to another 50 apps.
Yeah, but that's why mobile companies they have to come up with the kit, the size of the memory of your phone. 256, 1632, 128, 256. So I think it's still the highest from Apple, the highest in the market. So whatever you can do, whatever you want to do, you can still do it on. So it depends on how much are you spending. The same Apple phone, maybe let's say S Plus, 7S, you can get the one for 256, which will have a bigger memory. You understand me? So you can still download more. So the options are there, they cost you more. And they make more money.
So this thing was not there earlier. So you think about mobile marketing, was it there so popular? Maybe 5 years back, even 5 years back. Talk about even 5 years. It was not that, the way you have apps nowadays. We didn't have those kind of apps earlier.
Regenesys is doing a lot of it because they don't even let us sleep. I can get 10 emails, 20 SMSs.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think app is the new thing now that will really come out. A Regenesys app now. So okay. Okay. So my next question is, which digital marketing tool or tools would you use for your marketing your product, and why? You have your robot and your smartwatch. So which of these tools are you going to use and why? Select. Just think about all those digital marketing tools that you are going to use. Which all tools would you think? And please remember, don't say that you will use everything, because every company has got a limitation of resources. Even if it's Apple or maybe a profit generating any profit generating company, you have got limited resources. It's not that it's unlimited. No.
So I mean, one or two.
Yeah, think about 2, 3 the major ones that you are going to use. YouTube. Definitely YouTube.
You need to see what it does.
Okay. So the functional part of it, how do you operate it and how do you use it?
You can't sell a robot by weight. Clean the dishes, no. You see
How it
So
Okay, YouTube is one. Yeah? App.
what other options does
The different options are. Okay, you have this your mobile marketing like app, your LinkedIn, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter, all your social media, Facebook and all that. Yeah, major ones.
For me, social media.
LinkedIn, all those.
social media already?
Because the social media comprises of all of them.
Yeah, it's LinkedIn, Facebook, all those are come basically under social media.
Those are very different. LinkedIn is different. Instagram is different.
Yeah.
Facebook is different.
Yeah, you. So which one would you like to have? Go with.
There is a way you integrate them then, whereby your ad,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is a software we use when you click on it. Once you've been to LinkedIn of Regenesys, every time you go to Facebook, it pops up. You see them. If you go to any of the social media they're on, you find them. So it's a kind of integration. I forgot the name we call that. Whereby, as in when you register with Facebook, if you register Regenesys, they have a social media platform. Once you go on that, click it. So it comes. You understand?
So when you search for accommodation in a particular place, every time you go to a website, then it gives you ads that are about accommodation in that particular area. But if you're going to create an ad for social media marketing, you must have one specifically for Facebook, one specifically for
I want you to say that because the audience is different.
Yeah.
And how they will receive the message will be different.
Okay, maybe.
Also, even the engineers of the sites, they want the video in specific, in special formats, sizes,
Okay,
resolutions.
let me elaborate on that. Every of them are different entities. You understand? LinkedIn is on its own all, like you said. But there is an integration that is done whereby once you visited their site once, if you go to your LinkedIn, you find them. If you go to your Facebook, you find them. Anywhere you go, your email, as in, they pop up. So they don't even need to advertise all to you. But once you visited them once, it picks your system and it follows you. Do you understand? Yeah, that's what happened right now. So you get it at all time. Any of their platforms, once you click on one of their platforms, it gives you for that. That's why you see the integration is done under the website whereby where you're doing that you advert Facebook, Twitter, all that one.
There are some accounts where you get in. If you don't want to create more passwords, you can say log in with your Facebook or log in with whatever it
It's
is.
automatic.
Yeah.
Because they are linked. That's
So
what
I think that's how they connect all those things.
Yeah, no, that I agree with. It is true. The only point I'm making is that you've got to create specific
They
ads
have
for
a
all the
specific for all of
platforms.
them.
Yeah, because all of them, the people who are using all these things use it for different purposes. If we talk about LinkedIn, it's more about your official, professional things. Facebook is more personal. I think so.
Twitter.
When you have time limits on the screen time of the ad, so you can't have a 10 minutes ad crammed into Instagram, for example.
No.
So you have just, and their pricing very different.
Yeah. So
It's a lot of money also to have
But
to host.
it's still by far a better option than your traditional TV.
It is by
They-
far.
People are not watching TV anymore. That's the problem. So I'm saying for our role, it would be YouTube and it would be some social media
okay.
pages or that would work better.
Because and one thing is there are things you read on the other website which you don't get understanding, no matter how it's been explained. But on YouTube, when you listen to the video, it's like you're communicating. When I study, I listen to the YouTube. It gives me a clearer understanding more to me than any other.
Okay. So you think YouTube and social media? So you'll be using it. No apps.
Look, those pop-ups are great as well, but if people just press X
For your robot? Don't you need app for a robot? You are at office. Your app. You give okay. You give direction to your him. To just maybe to warm your food. Put it in your microwave, and by the time you reach home, it's ready for you or something. I don't
That
know.
is very important. Those social media, in terms of the marketing we're discussing, yes, it's just publicity, advertising. But in terms of functionality, something must happen that you want to take an action. That is one of the best because, like now, I'm driving and I receive an email or something. I can't even go. I wanted to quickly check something on your app, like the security services in the house. And information comes when they try to reach you, when they don't, even if they don't call you, when there is someone who goes there, either it's been switched off at home or something. I see it on the agenda. No, somebody just switch off, and it's somebody who knows the password, or somebody just close the application that should in case intruder can be alarm. So I think app is very, very important because it's handy. You don't need an elaborate gadget to access it. Everyone goes with their phone. Even when we go to toilet anywhere, we still keep our phone, even when inside our bed. So I think app is very, very important. App is very important.
Okay. So you see the way we are using technology now. So for marketing, now you see the more and more of this. I think in the next 2 to 3 years time, we are using it more and more and more. I think so. The use of IT, the technology, the social media, and everything is going to increase only. So it is on the increase. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of the section 1. Why we took so long? Because I tell you, because this is conceptual. A lot of things are conceptual in chapter 1. The basic concepts of marketing, the concept of need, wants, and all those things are very, very basic. So that's why I think my focus was more. Not all the sections are like that big, right? So Now ethics, because sometimes what happens is because there's such a huge competition, you want to win the market share. Whether it's ethical, unethical, you just go for it. Many times it can happen. So, but you have to remain ethical, especially in terms of advertising, promotion, and pricing. Advertising or promotions, the way you advertise, the way you promote the product. You can't first of all make false claims. It's very easy. I still remember there was I think it was P&G or Unilever or somebody who talked about that, I think it was one of their dish cleaning or something liquid where they said it has got lemon extract. Somebody tested it in a laboratory and found there's nothing. There's nothing. They're only putting a picture of that on the on the packaging, and there's nothing like lemon in there. They're they've added some chemicals, so they smell like lemon. There's no lemon in that. Somebody did this. You can't do that, And they are saying that you are a lemon extract. That's why it will remove the dirt and this and that. You can't do that. Yeah. Though there are some very interesting, cases by the customers going to the court of law and saying that why they have advertised like that. One was, I think, for this this deodorant called Axe, Unilever. They came out with, I think, the chocolate flavor, something which they say that once you have it on, and then the man was followed by hundreds and thousands of girls. Somebody said, I've been using it for the last 6 months, not a single girl is coming after me, so it's as a false claim. So you can have all those things, but you cannot make false claims. That's the truth of it. So you just can't do that. If you recall, H&M came with an advert with the monkey, that monkey ad, which has got a lot of controversy, So so that's why you have to be very, very ethical. You need to think about the society, the stakeholders, the culture where you are making, because when you go to a different country also, say for example, it's a South African company, maybe they go to Middle East or some countries, the way you advertise here, you cannot advertise in a similar way there. The words that you use, the models, the brand, all those models that you use in your advert, maybe you have to use it, in a different way. Yeah, they dress up more. The cultures are different, so you need to understand the culture and then portray. So so that's ethics. There are some questions. Similarly, pricing also. Though pricing, people say it's your organization, it's your company, your product. You can charge whatever you want to. But now it's always a big question mark. Can you allow that to happen? If you allow that to happen, some companies are so big, they can take over in the future. It was said that now the Amazon and Walmart, that turnover, the annual turnover, is more than the GDP of many countries. Many countries don't even have that much of GDP. What the turnover is, they're so big. So like they can, with 1 year's annual turnover, they can buy a country. So now,
But how do you regulate that?
that's the question mark.
That's the tough part, because look at all the industries we have. Who's going to regulate the pricing?
That's why they're saying that, if you go back to the history, how come, British people rule over the world? They used to say that, sun never used to set for the British rule, because they had their rule all over the world. So, if one part is sun sets, another part is still on. So, it's like sunrise and sunset at the same time were different. So the sun used to never set in there. How come? How? And they're saying that again, what is happening, these big companies are working towards the same thing. They are going to take over everything. With they're so powerful.
No, it's true. Because the big companies, their cost of manufacturing, so their margins can also be less, just to kill the competition till they go up. But who's going to regulate it?
So that's why government has to come in and see that, what can best be done.
How?
That's a big question mark now. Can they control the pricing?
It's not going to happen very
But in those advanced countries like Dr. said, price control system has been in existence for a very long time. The only person that can change those and make sure it becomes a policy is the government. It's their duty. When you remember, there was a time in Egypt, in Cairo, there was a stampede whereby people were protesting the price of bread went up with a cent or two. And they went on the street and they protested. And at the end of the day, people, I think there were people dying, but there was a serious, it was a further protest. But at the end of the day, the government came back and they sat down, they regulated. Like I said, in the part of the country where we the world where we are like South Africa, the people, the present problem we have majorly is from the government because there's no regulation. And government make more money from, they are not ethical. So they make more money from these businesses, right? Look like the problem happening in KwaZulu-Natal, one of those where they wanted to put a mining company. And the mining company, they never thought about it. They were not ethical the way they evicted those people and all that, taking over the music. So some of these things that government can say, no, this is their land. So that is how I see it. It could be done. Price control system has been in existence and it could be done better from the government side in terms of policy making. They knew how much, like the way they regulate us in the industry where we do tenders and procurement with government. Government gave us 15%. If you are not a manufacturer, can go, if you are a manufacturer of a product, you can go up to 15%. But if you are not a manufacturer or a third party you source, you can go up to about 35 or so, thereabout.
But
So
I'm talking about 15% markup.
markup on it, you understand me?
Is that regulated?
They don't regulate it, that's what I'm saying. Say, government put it.
There's a fine line between over-regulation and allowing
Yeah.
businesses to work. So there are things that, in my view, shouldn't be regulated. Businesses must just compete and be muscled out. But there are things that government has to regulate so that they protect even those who don't have the money.
No,
Protecting
many.
their consumers. So if businesses decided that bread will cost 30 rands a loaf, we will have to buy it because we need it. But can it not cost less? So those things can be regulated, like the fuel price. They can be regulated. And if you start regulating things like
That is why
Vaseline.
only certain things are regulated, like your staple foods are regulated.
Yes.
That's why. But when it comes to other products, come on, trust. I'm a manufacturer, right? I want to go into a tender for this. Now, for them to say I can go up to 15% means I must disclose my cost to them. I don't have to do that.
You don't disclose your cost.
So how do you know? So how do you know my markup will be
You
15%?
see what you bring out does not necessarily mean it's a cost of production. You understand? Your profit is already there on. Companies are not being honest. Let's tell ourselves.
That's what I'm saying.
The cost, if you are buying this pen for 2 rand, the manufacturer cost, the
There's
cost of this
already
thing
profit
is about
there.
98 cents.
Yeah.
You understand me? But they already put it in 2 rand, make it 1.2. So if they are selling it for government, they will now put 15% markup. So what we are saying is this: it's not because company will not make profit. Company should make profit, but they should be considerate because you cannot buy something of 10 rand and you want to sell it 30 rand. That's exorbitant.
I think the only dangerous thing is when you have monopolies. That's where they can do whatever they want to do. Because the moment you have got competition, the price is going to be, it will go down. That's what happens.
But that's why
It's business, guys. It's
also
competition.
when you looked at the Nkandla issue, people were selling a glass for 200 rands. So that's exorbitant, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the government doesn't, or whoever is consuming, doesn't go and say, this thing costs 5 rand, why are you selling it for 100 rands? But there are things that shouldn't be regulated so that business can be free to innovate.
But do they allow the companies to operate freely? Because like I was still saying, the policy here, there are a lot of banks in Nigeria, business in Nigeria that wants to come here. South African government is blocking them, they don't allow it. Do you know that? And there are a lot of companies from South Africa that goes to Nigeria because there was no regulation. If you see Nigeria, it's just like a dumping ground. We import most things we use in Nigeria, and the population makes it to make more profit. Because there is no quality control system, it they allow, just bring your product as long as people can afford it and they buy. That's why you see, they think if you buy this phone, here it's about, when I bought it's about 17,500. In Nigeria, cost price was about 250,000 back then. But you know this phone, this phone back home in Nigeria is far cheaper. Let's just go on this, just one currency. If it's $1 here in Nigeria, it's like about 0.50.
But I disagree with you, trust.
I'm telling you, our things are cheaper compared to your here, and you know why? Because I'm just complimenting what you said. There is no monopoly. It's an open market for everybody. You can go to there and bring a container of anything, whatever, as long as. But one problem we have is that there is no quality control system whereby anybody just make things. And you see a Gucci shirt, exactly like Gucci, but it's not your original one. But it's a replica, you know, and you wear it and feel so good. So you can see how it is. So in a place where there is an open market, monopoly goes away and the price reduces because people compete. So that is where I'm with my point.
No, what I disagree with you on is businesses. It's far easier for businesses to come to South Africa and operate in South Africa than it is.
They don't.
Operate in Nigeria.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it because of. I hear it's a fact. I sit with these people. I've been opportune to sit with the governing body from this side and that side. Look at our educational system. In Nigeria, we have the same 6334, the British kind of system. When we come here, when you graduated from matric, they give you the West African Examination Council, which is grade 12 of yours here. But here, when you go to Smartwatch they dropped our grade to 11. When you come with grade, my degree now in Nigeria is grade level 8. Here, they drop me to level 7 in Smartwatch. When you come, there are banks, you see EcoBank. I think NetBank has about 20% of it now. 20% of EcoBank. It's one of the banks that has I think the appearance in almost all the most African countries, about 36 or so. With that, when they want to come, they said no. The kind of banking system we operate here is different from here. It's true that. Other companies that we have a lot of companies that comes in, they cannot operate here because they stop them because of policies. You understand? It's true. You can go to Chamber of Commerce and ask about that. They South Africa close the market. It's a closed market if you know that. It's just now you see where China people are coming in now that you now see. Before, there are certain products you cannot afford. When you're buying this job before in some places, you pay a very high. Now you can get this with 7 glasses for about 140 bucks. Do you understand me? Why? Because people came into the country with it. But at the time, the people look like bread industry. You think there are no other people who does bread? Look at your petroleum industry that goes for petrol here. You don't make it, but you can still source it. America don't have petrol. I think they have in Texas. But still, they're still cheaper than most of us in Africa that even produce them. Do you understand me? So if you look at that, there is a way here the system is being controlled not to be open to people. Let me tell you. From my experience.
Let's put it this way. Certain industries. In certain industries, you find that there's those barriers to entry. But I want to agree with him on this one. It's not very difficult for foreign companies to in South Africa. Honestly, I've seen how we've done it so many times with companies from abroad, but it depends on the industry. Again, you don't touch the industry of oil, you don't touch the industry of electricity, you don't touch the banking industry, you don't touch mining.
Yeah.
There's certain industries where they put around
And
fences.
if government have interest in it, it's become a problem.
Exactly.
That's the area.
So some industries that you're going to look at and you want to come in, come on. It's like you look at the IPP thing. How long did it take for those things to be signed? Because it wasn't easy. The regulations were just left, right, and center. It was always blocking this thing from inside because it's a loophole. Even though it's government owned, but it's a loophole. Until a new president came in, a new minister for energy came in, and all of a sudden these things are signed. Like, there was no problem.
Like overnight.
Yeah, overnight. There was no
Because
policy
there were
change.
interest.
There was no policy change, nothing.
Yeah.
There were interest.
Yeah, there were
Higher
interest.
interest. Higher power with higher interest.
If you try, look, PPC tried going in West Africa. Dismally failed. In Nigeria, they couldn't get me. Dangote cement is selling here
And
without any problem.
Dangote
Tiger
bought
Brands
the
went to-
percentage from.
Didn't
Went to
Dangote buy
Nigeria.
Sepap?
Dangote
Yeah.
bought
Yes.
What 60%
Superb.
of Sepap?
But now that cement is selling here.
and it's selling a
And the
lot.
profits are going to Nigeria, no problem.
Remember,
Tiger
it's
Brands,
not a
MTN,
new
Standard
company
Bank.
that is brought here. Ne? It's a company that is an indigenous company that somebody came to buy a share.
Yes.
But coming to start a new one, it's hard. Those companies that goes to Nigeria like MTN and all that, they're indigenous. Let me tell you something, I think relationship between countries matters. Ne?
Too much.
Yes, and the relationship between Nigeria and South Africa have been hurt a lot some years back now because of the way our citizens and all things that is happening. But you know, as far as Africa is concerned, I was listening to an interview. The two nations that can move Africa forward is Nigeria and South Africa. And the only problem we have, I'm sorry to say this, is middle and the Western countries, specifically America, they are making it enough for us not to have a part together within Africa. Africa has all the resources we can use to sustain ourselves, but we depend on it. Sir,
Okay.
I think we should not take over the class.
No, it's fine. I think nice to hear your opinion. No, basically we are thinking about, yeah, okay, whether should they, so it's more about, you know, from the company's perspective, how ethical they want to be, you know. It's like in terms of your advertising, promotion, pricing. See, there are certain industries like pharmaceutical, you know, medicines. See, if you are sick, you don't look at the price of the medicine, isn't it? I tell you, if you just Google it and try to find out the most profitable industry in the last 100 years, pharmaceuticals, no doubt. Wonderful industry, you know, even if they cost 10 cents and they charge you 10 rents, you will pay. You're sick, you don't worry, you don't negotiate there. No, I won't pay 10 rents. No, you have to, and you do pay, you know. And that's where I think somewhere, and this was happening, and what has happened is, a classic case in India happened, in pharmaceuticals. The government came out with a wonderful initiative. What happens is big pharmaceutical companies, the amount of profit that they make, maybe sometimes 200%, 300%, something which can cost them 10 rents, they can charge 200 rents for that. Some life-saving drugs, they were charging like, you cannot imagine even. They're costing you 5 rands and charging you 500 rands. Because it's life-saving, you know, when you're dying, what you do? You know, you'll run and just have it. Now, so government said, okay, they allowed something which is called a generic drug. Generic drug is okay, it's not branded. It has the same content. Yeah, no name, but it has got the same content. So they say government allowed that to happen, and especially they started to sell it for free in government hospitals. So you can get all those drugs for free in government hospitals, and government started to purchase it, only the generic ones. They were not buying those branded ones. That's changed the market altogether, you know, like the dynamics changed. The poor people now can, you know, because supplied in the hospital. So no more with that, because they said, you know, the same drug can come in 5 rands, 10 rands, and then the government can afford to pay the you know, for free, and so they can give it to the public for free. The public were getting it for free, and for some they were charging a nominal amount because it's not too costly. And that's changed. So that's how sometimes government can play a bit of a role. Okay. Then some question.
Before you go on, in terms of that, if they take that route, isn't it a bit risky for the government to also be a player? For example, in order for them to regulate, now they take the stance of being a player, to be competitive, so that the prices don't become ridiculous. I mean, in that case, maybe it's a bit risky for the government to be a player as well.
Yeah, it's
to be a policymaker and leave it like that.
No, yeah, but in this case it was more about the policy, like it was allowing that, you know, because permission to allow those small companies to manufacture, they allowed that to happen. Because there's a big thing in pharmaceutical, that's called patents. You know, to manufacture a drug, you know, that's a patent, but there is a validity of a patent. That after so many years, you know, you cannot hold your patents. Then it's free. Others can also bring out. So the government said, okay, when the number of years have passed, oh, you allow even the small factory somewhere, you know, they are producing that drug, so it's fine. So that's what happened. Yeah, but it's when government starts to act as a player, then this becomes difficult for business to grow then.
But governments become careful. They don't become players. Instead, they have triple Ps with the smaller companies. So that the smaller company is the one that produces. Government might be helping out with the resources for them to produce. But then it's actually a partnership between the government and those smaller players to say, if you can get us these things cheaper. So they're not a player. They're still a customer. But just having a partnership with a supplier that says, I can supply you more than what you're spending right now. It's happening in our country as well. A lot of, in the medical industry. With most of the machines and the equipment that they're using in the theaters. Yeah. It's more partnerships than anything.
Yeah. And if you look at what made Aspen so big is government and ARV drugs. Government buys, public gets for free. But Aspen then charges arm and a leg. And Stevenson is exceptionally rich for that. But if government allowed companies to do it, the thing would be very expensive. And there's nothing we can do about it. The public would suffer.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, these ethical issues in marketing are plenty, I tell you. Even, you know, these issues here raised, like, can children understand marketing tactics? You know, the promotions that are targeted at children, how far they're ethical? You know, the way, because, you know, you just trying to motivate those small kids to buy. Now, you know, the parents are forced to buy because the kids, you know, you just can't handle your kids now. What do you do? So yeah, so that's what the question is it ethical to do that? You know, to target the kids?
Knowing very well they have no buying power.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes they can influence the purchase decision, children.
Absolutely.
And they go, no, I want this, I want this, I want this. He'll cry, he won't eat, he won't sleep, and what do? You know there are options. Just buy.
It is a If you stop at a robot and you're with your son, and the guy sells Batman toys, he wants it. That guy, he sees the car with the child. He goes straight there. He doesn't want to see any other. He sees the child. His tires. It's a very car. The kid is going to cry, scream. You'll buy the toy. And for you, he doesn't negotiate. For others, it's like 30 rands. For you, 50 rands. It's like, boss, 50. Because it's got you.
It's marketing. Yeah.
So
Do what they do. Remember, there was a court case between Kellogg's and Pocomo because of how they looked. So Pocomo made their cornflakes look like Kellogg's because the kids can't read. They can only see. So if they see cornflakes, they understand. So Kellogg's took them to court to say, change your box. I mean, now they think you're us. But I mean, the government let them fight.
the fake there are many fake companies. Their names are so similar. I tell you, they look like a very similar font, similar style. They will slightly change the word. One of those words will change. You know?
Is that unethical because they're also trying to compete to have the market share?
Yeah, so it's a question mark now. It's ethical, unethical. There's a very thin line between being ethical and unethical.
Yeah, just find your own market.
So this is.
Why you piggyback?
My market is your market.
Is it your market?
Is it your market?
You are selling conflicts.
What's wrong with you?
I tell you.
Don't use my strategy.
The market is not yours.
So I tell you, it's not just conflicts. You know, sometimes those children can influence the smartphone that you buy, the television that you buy, all those things they can influence. No, that's a better one.
Yeah,
Now.
my son told me. Yeah, he said now he wants to use iPhone, and I got him a brief from Nokia. He said he used it and he made sure that Nokia doesn't work anymore. Now I got to fix. They said they can replace. So now I just left him. No, I left him. I said,
I tell you
When
that.
you buy, you know exactly which phone you're going to buy. Now you are cornered.
So so that's okay. So marketing ethics can be defined as inquiry into the nature and grounds of moral judgment, standards and rules of conduct related to marketing decisions and marketing situations. Ethical marketing is a philosophy that focuses on honesty, fairness and responsibility. Though wrong and right are subjective, a general set of guidelines can be put in place to ensure the company's intent is broadcasted and achieved. As a company, you should be very clear what is ethical and what is unethical for you. It's very, very thin line, very, very thin line. I tell you briefly, in my career into sales and marketing, I worked for only a few months in an insurance company. It was by default that I entered into that company. I shouldn't have never, because I was not made. Everyone has his own personalities that suits to certain jobs. I was never suited to that, but by default I entered. It was an HR consultant who says, okay, that's a nice offer. You can go and join that company. Because I was into hardcore sales, I said, oh, it's a sales job. So you can go and enter. It's a nice company offering a very nice package. I said, okay. I said, but I don't want to enter a life insurance company. He said, no, it's a what? A vehicle insurance company or something. I said, okay, fine. I entered that only to find it's a life insurance company. Now you're already there for the interview. So that when you're sitting there, you said, okay. Anyways, so you have double confidence because you don't want to join that company. So you are very confident, Obviously, so and then what happens, because of the confidence, they select you. So that's what happened to me. Like I was so confident because I knew I'm never going to join this company. I was so confident. So they chose me, and then they offered quite when you find that you are getting a 40-50% hike from the present job, obviously you have to rethink your decision. It makes you rethink. So I said, okay, let me join, and then I joined. And there's such a sales pressure. I mean, I was, and the terms and conditions in the life insurance, if you make them the customer read, nobody is going to sign the contract ever. I tell you. Oh, this is a big contract. And then it was a lot of sales pressure, do this, do that. And because of the sales pressure, I sold something which I regretted. And I had a big regret that, there was a poor guy, like he didn't knew much. He can't write much, And I sold him an insurance policy which was not suitable for him. I knew it's not suitable. And because of the sales pressure, you can convince sometimes because the poor guy don't understand. And then I went back and I couldn't sleep. Like I thought, no, I can't do that to that poor guy, because you can recall the policy within 1 month's time, if you don't want. So I told him and said, take it back. I said, why? Though I had a difficult time with him, I had a very difficult time. I said that that I think I've done it wrong. Like this. I have a better policy for you. He said no. He literally threw me out of his house. But I said, please take this policy back. I couldn't sleep, and I think after a week's time I resigned. I said no, I cannot. It was getting very difficult, because the kind of pressures that you get. Sometimes you tend to do just for the achieving the sales target. I say because it was basically for his child, and I sold him a policy which is ideally suitable for at least a person who is in his mid-30s. So I sold him for his kid. Then I thought no, because a poor guy, it's difficult for him to really have the premium paid. I thought no, it's this guy. It's difficult for him to even earn his living. How can I do this to him?
Yeah.
Then I realized, and even my manager said, why? What happened? Why is he taking the policy back? I told him that, I think the policy is not suitable for him. Yeah. He said, but now it's sold. Come on, man. Forget it. You already sold the policy. I said, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I need to go back and say that recall. He said he would never know that there is an option to recall. I said, but I know that you can recall the policy in 30 days. There is an option. He said, no. In fact, I went there, advised him how to do that, and recalled. The manager was unhappy. The customer was unhappy. Both of them were shouting at me. That it's better, not to continue in this company. I won't be able to survive. I said, no, I just can't do this. It's better to have a product sells, So I have difficult products. Initially, I was selling cigarettes. Though in cigarette selling, you have never to able to, you don't really need to go to the customer and say, you buy the cigarette. It's basically you sell it to the retailers and dealers, so you don't go to the customer and say, no, buy a cigarette. You don't have to convince people to buy. It sells automatically somehow. So you don't have to do that.
But that is a moral standard for you to do that. It's just a moral.
So I thought it's fine because that was so unethical. Sometimes you do all those. I tell you, this mis-selling is a big thing in the marketing thing. With my experience, I've seen mis-selling. Selling a wrong product to a customer. It happens a lot because the customer is not aware. I tell you, you don't give him any options. Just because you know that you have more profit on this product, you just push it through.
And what happens to the advertisement you see on TV, the sauna belt, the one.
Yeah. Your belly fat will go. It can never go.
I bought it. I'm only sweating there. Wait, but it looks as if maybe I'm even getting fat. So what happened is because that advertisement was what caught me. I said, so this is possible. And I was okay. No time to go gym, and this was some years back when Very Mark. It came out with that.
Very Mark, yes.
I got it, and anytime I see the advertisement, I just say, this is scam. I don't believe it. So what happens to those kind of advertisements?
Yeah, that's totally unethical, There's something.
That's why, because of those complaints, most of the adverts are now played, like you find 80 hours in the morning. They play a long ad because they need to repeat a couple of things, terms and conditions.
I still
but they've been in trouble for a very long time.
Yeah, I still recall those times you used to still show a fat. I was fat, and I did that, and like something like that. They used to play that, and then they show that suddenly the person becomes active. I don't know how. Maybe initially they have put something here and they showed him like he's a big fellow, and then remove everything. Yeah, so it's like, and then they show somebody who is a doctor, like an apron and everything, like looks like he is a doctor, and he is simply an actor who had never gone to the college or university, and he is shown as a doctor, and people feel, oh, doctor is saying that you should do this. They are not real doctors; those are actors basically. He never went to a university, and he's a good actor, so that's what he's doing. So, like, those things are like, really, I tell you, people get, people see all those things. So, socially responsible organizations value that marketers are expected to support honesty. Honesty means, you whatever you promise, you deliver, It's always good to, under promise and over deliver. That's better. But you over promise and under deliver, that's dangerous. But people are just not concerned. You sell it and don't even look back. Oh, you're sold now. Responsibility, you take the responsibility of whatever you have promised. You sold something, you take the total responsibility. Okay, I am responsible for this product. Something goes wrong, I am here. It's not that when you try to find out the person, they say, no. Something like a Chinese product, You step out of the shop, you say, no, there's no warranty now. It was working. The 5 minutes back it was working, now it's not working. Now it's more, what do I do? Yeah. So
the policy of the shop says you cannot take it back.
Yeah.
Bought it, you bought it.
So, you think. Then fairness. the way you deal with people, you should be fair enough. You should, as a company, you should make profit, but it should not be that you make huge profits. Yeah. Then respect. You have to respect the culture, the tradition of the people. The respect has to be there. And finally, the citizenship. Citizenship is more about the ownership. You own it. The product that you sell, as a market person, when you start to sell a product, if you don't believe in that product, I'm telling you, you can't sell it. It becomes so difficult. You just can't. The insurance policy I never was able to sell because as a concept that never went into my head. Because they were trying to sell an insurance policy as an investment. I said it's not an investment. It's an insurance. Because what they did, they found a wonderful way that even if people want to invest, it's like an insurance plus investment. I said these two are two different things. You should have an insurance, and for investment there are different other options. So I was never able to convince myself, and I was never able to convince anybody else. And then even today when people come to sell that product, they find it very difficult to. There was somebody who was trying to sell that to me. And then I said, come on, man. I said, okay, man. Then I said, see, insurance, just to insure your life, you don't have to pay a huge premium. Very less premium, you can insure your life for a very big amount, or millions. Very less investment. For investment, there are other options in banking products. Many products are there where you can get a very good rate of return. So that somebody came with all that. He came with all that beautiful suit and everything, nicely dressed up, and two people coming to me. They called me, it's a meeting, can we come? I said, okay, come. We want to have a financial planning session with you. I said, okay, come. Then they came, they were trying to sell their ideas. I said, you stop. It's my planning. I'll tell you what do I want, and then you tell me what are the products which can help you achieve that. I told them, my target is, I want, by the age of 55, I want 25 million in my bank.
Yeah.
Now you tell me how do I reach there? How much, where do I invest, and how much do I invest to reach at that? Now they were in a fix now what to do. They came up, we do this. And then there's a beautiful word called assurance. That word is used a lot in the financial and insurance industry. They say, okay, no, we assure you will get this return. I said, assurance? I want a guarantee. Assurance is not guarantee.
Yeah, that's right.
So I said, no assurance. Don't use this words with me. Don't play the tricks. I worked for 2 months in insurance company. So I know this assurance. What does assurance means? I want a guarantee. Can you guarantee me this? You are asking about my planning. With life you cannot take risk that if I don't get this, what do I do then?
Yeah.
They say, no, we'll ask our boss and come back, we'll plan, we'll do this, we'll do that. Now they've started asking me funny question, okay, what is your monthly income, what are the expenses, this and that. I said, okay, you jot down everything, now you plan, tell me.
I want to tell you.
So this is what I said, tell me how much do I invest where? I should invest in securities, I should invest in land, I should invest in gold, this and that. They were only trying to sell their own investment in their bank. I said, man, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. Obviously not. You have to diversify your portfolio. That much I understand. I said, you have not come to a fool, I'm not a person who never went to the college. So, so I said, I went to the university and I did my course seriously. So don't try to, investment, I know that it's a portfolio. Portfolio where, you have different products.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong with one, at least you have others which can save you.
Yeah.
They knew nothing. I said, come on, man, do your homework well and come back again. They never returned after that. So that's what I tell you. Sometimes they're only looking for people whom they can fool. So marketing and the ethical conflict. Ethical conflicts in marketing can be caused when someone's personal values conflict with the organization. That's just like the conflict that I had with my insurance company. I didn't believe that that can be done. This occurs when someone or some organization looks for personal gain from false advertising. You know, so like false advertising, it happens. You create false, as I told about that lemon thing, false advertising. You cannot claim something that you don't offer. Even, you know, there's a funny way this, you know, terms and conditions apply. Those small 2 stars,
Yeah.
terms and conditions.
Yeah.
You know, offer up to 50%. The up to is written in the most, I think, the font size of 8. And that 50% is the font size of 40. Up to 40%. And when you go to the store, you find 40% is only on the most expensive product. Rest everything is 5%, 7%, you get attracted. Why such thing?
Yeah.
You know, up to. That's a very dangerous word. And then terms and conditions apply. Oh, small letters. And those and terms and conditions they are never able to explain. There's another offer going on with Telcom, where they're offering something in 800 rands, this uncapped 10 Mbps. But the terms and conditions still apply. Now, what are those terms? Sometimes even they don't know. I asked them for a call back. They called me back. I said, they say it's a 24-month contract. I said, wonderful. But what happens if I want to break the contract? You know, there should be an option that, no, I'm not able to do that. I said, you know, I'm not a South African. So what happens if I go back to my country after 12 months and I want to end the contract? Now, the lady doesn't know. I said, no, why are you calling me then? You should do your homework first, you know. That I said, dude, that should be. She said, no, then you have to talk to our finance guys. I said, I'm talking now. At that time, how do I, you know, I will only enter into a contract once I know the terms and conditions. So, you know, you have to pay something. I said, what is that something? At that time, I said, come on, do your homework well.
Even the gym company does that. When we want to cancel our membership last year, they refused to cancel, and they said, I said, you guys, when you were selling this thing, they pack a lot of books, you know, you can't even read them.
Yeah, you can't.
Just look at the
That's
text
what
and
that
sense.
video was talking in the Facebook, you know, that the agreement sucks, you know, you cannot read all those things.
And at the end of the day, you know, they were demanding 9,000 something for us to cancel. I think
Yes,
yes, 9 point something. Then I said no. So I stopped, and every other person. Then about 2 persons were left on it, and what they did agreed that they have a certain period when we can cancel it. And after about 3 months or so, they said we are left. We can cancel, but we pay by 1.5 or something like that. But at the end of the day, we canceled some of those ones. So it's yeah. So I think most of those advertisements or so, those terms and conditions is what we don't read majorly, and those are where they are problems.
Yeah, the font size is 6 or 7 and there are 40, 50 terms and conditions, which are sometimes so difficult to understand. You know, this is,
Telcom's terms and conditions are easy. You can never cancel.
That's it.
you can never cancel.
You can never cancel.
They had problems in December where they were reported and people on radio, they were not accepting any cancellations. They want to tell you stories, no, but you signed, yeah, but it's more than 2 years, no, it's fine, but you signed.
And they know their network is not
Exactly, so you can never cancel, that's the terms and conditions. You will pay them forever.
Yeah, so,
Don't read more, just know that you will never cancel.
yeah, so,
But at least if you know before you go in, then it's fine.
yeah, at least tell them. The lady said, no, there's something you have to pay. I said, what is something? You have to be clear, and I need to know that terms in written, that you know this is how I can cancel. I said, you get a contract and then you want to cancel, you are not allowed to cancel. That shouldn't happen. And especially it happens with public companies, you know, nobody is there to listen to you. A private company, at least there is somebody you can talk to. So yeah.
Hey. Big hello there.
Use your ID.
You don't want to go there.
So now do you think can large organization be 100% ethical in today's business environment?
Difficult.
This statement went 2 last year's exam.
Only one in life.
So
I was honest, and that's why I almost finished.
So I don't think, I think I've asked this question for the last 2 years and the answer is the same.
No.
Yeah, they can't be ethical. See that? Now see,
Yo,
Why not?
But
Why not?
it seems people are not even trying these days. Well, the executives.
If you want to,
It seems they're not even trying to be honest.
if you want to follow,
yeah, that's the problem.
follow the
We are
regulation,
trying. We are trying.
You know the best of the best companies, but
Yeah.
they may say,
You know how far we are trying. We are trying. Where there's legislation, we will tick the box. But beyond that,
It's a gray area.
You go to school with these guys, and they are ethical. Once they get there,
The story changes.
then it's different.
so
yeah, there's a lot of influence, obviously.
we said this in one of our, I don't want to maybe in strategy or on
Ethics.
ethics. The basic purpose of every organization, especially companies that manufactures or production companies or service providers, what is it? Is to make profit. In making profit, there are so many things like these things of contracts, terms and conditions. They won't tell you because if you are being honest, you won't make money. And now, according to the legislation, the policies is constraining them to be ethical. And being ethical, there are certain areas where you go, then you lose businesses, you won't make money. So I think they cannot be 100% ethical in my own view.
yeah. At the same time, there is also a fact that even if you think about the customers also, are they also ethical? Many times, I tell you, many times they also try to misuse, the terms and conditions. Say, for example, I enter into a contract with any company for 24 months contract. After 3 months, I go back to India. What can the company do? Think.
But the terms and conditions are very, very honest.
Yeah, I tell you.
They are inaccessible, and you don't want to read them because it's 20 pages.
Yeah, they make it in that way that you don't read.
Even Facebook's.
That's what he was talking about. So even the customers.
Yes, they tell you, you give us rights to use your pictures. We can
Yeah,
do
you-
anything we
But
want.
no one reads.
Yeah, but we never
They
read
don't
it.
Yeah.
explain them.
That's what.
But use their
I-
picture not in terms of the advertisement in making, you understand me? So that's not being because
Let's just read the-
When you
selling
take-
our
But they-
informations. You never said you're selling the informations. You said, can we use it? Using it means to display it on your website to make it more colorful.
Yeah, but then they
Make
use it for other.
But they use it for that purpose.
See.
They are clear on terms and conditions. They can use it for business purposes.
Why?
They can
That's very
distribute
vague,
it.
bro.
Yeah.
But on their terms and condition is not written for business purpose.
What
They keep it open, so that it can be.
you know what they call it?
Now there's
They
better
call it for marketing purposes.
And they tell you,
That's what I was
whatever
trying to
amount they get, you are not entitled to a cent.
That's why it depends upon the leadership and the management, the way they want to run the company. On ethical grounds, on unethical grounds, what do they really want?
But we all need terms and conditions, because if I'm in this building and I break my leg, I come and I sue Regenesys for 20 million. They need terms and conditions. They say, whilst you're in here,
No, maybe
At
you
your own
maybe you
rights.
signed them already
We
when
had.
you were registered.
we have.
You signed a waiver.
We
You
have
read
signed
them.
You signed a waiver.
We
Yeah,
have
that's what happens. Most of the time, that's what happens.
But here's my question based on this. Based on this. What if I'm trying to be 100% ethical, but the industry that I'm in, my customers and my suppliers
They are not.
not 100% ethical.
They are not ethical.
Where does that put me? How do I work? When I'm chasing 100%,
That's how.
how do I work?
That is why you can't be 100% ethical, because you are connected to so many people who may be unethical now.
Who am I going to buy from?
Your supply chain. All those people in supply chain. There may be some people who are unethical. Now, what do you do now with those people?
I need to get
You cannot own your own entire supply chain.
Hey, I trust to say a pen is $1. Gets here, it's $50. You know that information for a fact. It's $1 from the source. Then goes through middlemen. When I sell it, it's $50. But it's unfair. If you're ethical, it's unfair to the consumer.
But you're in the
Okay, but,
You have to do it.
Yeah.
but your job is to sell now, it's not to set up prices. So,
Exactly. You see now.
so you do your job then.
Yeah, so that's how this is. Marketing is so interesting, I tell you. But I tell you, most of the times it is, we are just a small part of that organization, most of the times. Unlike, for him, like he can set strategies because he is the owner of his own business. You can do. Otherwise, if you are working for a company, you know, you only implement. You don't really make those strategies.
In his case, because he might be the owner of the business and he might set up strategies that will be leading the company to 100% ethicalness. But his employees,
Yeah.
that you have there on the side are doing their own things on the side. Automatically, it makes his company unethical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's given them targets to go and
Even-
sell his
even-
products.
Even me, they make me to become unethical.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because like last week Saturday, the main plumber on my team was drunk,
Yo.
and they have a 2 meter down to dig and about 25 meters. But unfortunately, he said I didn't employ him to dig. I employed him to do plumbing. I was not there. They called me. I think I was writing a assignment, and I don't think I was here in Regenesis, and I don't think but they say he was drunk. You see, in such cases, I'm forced to fire him, which is I behave unethical, right?
Yeah.
But I can't do
You
that.
take the proper steps.
Yes, I just called him, I called him to speak to him. Then I'm coming there to speak to him. I went there, and he apologized before I saw him. You understand? And I let them still work together.
Now you need terms and conditions to say, now you must also dig and cover the trench.
But
You always amend, my man, because it's scenario to scenario.
When you are in a team,
Yeah.
we do teamwork in construction. We have two general workers, we have the plumber, and the team leader, which is like the driver, brings materials and all that. Then sometimes we have to tell them our team must be 5, according to the comment stipulated team members, the total number of members of the team. But sometimes you go 3. So if they're there, we help each other. Even the driver must, if there's a lot of work, they do it together. But on that, sometimes,
stipulated.
so yes, they know. But some of them, just like we're talking about being ethical and unethical, whatever affects him affects me. Because if he behaves anyhow, I will be forced to also behave irrational, which makes me unethical. But somehow I think working together, I don't know, but this issue of ethical is something we discussed last time. Something that is ethical to you is unethical. In Nigeria, you don't come to work, you can tell your boss. Your boss can tell you, now, this is your work they gave you. Work on computer. And your boss wife or your boss will come, hey, please, Tepo, can you please go clean or go bring me food there? That's not your job. When you say it to your boss wife or your boss that has some pets, I can't do that, I'm busy. You just see tomorrow they give you letter, they sack you. And no CCMA. Do you understand me? So sometimes ethical in other places unethical, but what they're trying to do is unethical. You can't send somebody to go and carry food or go and work. You understand me? So I think the issue of ethical and unethical, even on this, since we've been studying it, it's a bit of, I don't know, it's a bit of,
I think this is all it stems from the leadership, I tell you. Top management leadership, I think. They can get in you a culture of being ethical or unethical. Most of the times it's those people sitting at the top.
Again, I believe
They influence a lot.
besides the leadership, it's also on the person. Like we spoke
Yeah,
about
though.
this to say your upbringing also.
Okay.
What's
Ah,
ethical
those.
to you might be unethical to me. What's
Yeah.
ethical to me might be
Yeah,
ethical.
because
So,
yes.
there's such a thin line between ethics and unethics, Like talk about bribes, like those things.
to me it's not unethical. To you might be unethical. It's just a bribe.
Yeah. Some.
Some bribery came in form of as an appreciation.
Yeah.
Not bribing, there's bribery. But the form it comes from is like appreciating you. Just like you have been invited, come and dine.
Just a cold drink.
It's the country that someone take out the way to set a bribe. And I'm not so
Just a cold drink.
Yeah.
very expensive one, but it's just a country.
Imagine.
Yeah.
It depends who the leadership of the day is. I mean, the olden days, slavery was legal, it was very ethical.
Yeah.
Now it's not. You see,
And Amazon was legal and ethical.
and ethical.
Now,
Yeah,
To
it
be-
depends on the
to-
context
to-
now.
To be host to the people perpetrating it is ethical to them. But outrightly, deep down in their heart,
They know.
because of the profit involved, they knew it's unethical to
Yeah.
do this to someone.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because of what is in it.
But even our generation, we don't want to pay tolls. And it's law.
Yeah.
It's law. If
Not
you
bad.
don't pay, if you don't use the road and you don't pay,
But it's been faulted in the sense that there was no proper consultation with this community.
Now, what is happening with
besides the point.
this
is
e-toll?
law. It's
No, I don't understand.
besides the point.
So what is happening to those who are not
By
paying?
the way, if it's
If
law,
you're not
it's
paying,
then
Yeah,
It's
then
ethical.
it's
because I've seen so many people say we don't pay,
Many people will
No,
and they don't even have that, e-tag machines there in the cars, and they are just passing
I
by.
want to back you up on this one. Guys, you can say all you say. Eh? Government does not consult us on much money to do it anyway. But on this one, we're not doing it. But they haven't
Yes.
consulted the parents on it.
No one,
They didn't,
no one
they
was
didn't ask you.
consulted.
They told you from the 1st of April that is 15%.
But
And it happened.
in a real sense, was it supposed to be like that?
That's the
Well,
question.
if
No,
I
that's
can
my
put a
question.
referendum here and say, do you want to pay tax? Not VAT, tax, do you want to pay tax? I can tell you, at least 90% of people will say no.
No, of course
No,
not.
no.
So there are things that the government will not consult you on.
No, but tax is different. If you are now introducing a law, for the fact that you're saying it's law, it doesn't mean that it makes it then correct and ethical for the fact that it's called law.
You know,
No, it's very interesting, you know.
I agree with you. I understand what you mean, but here the basic idea of ethics is follow the correct and legal standard.
Yeah.
Your practice must be open, honest, transparent, and legal.
Yes. But
If you
if
don't
that
pay-
practice of coming to the legal part of it and it was not ethical on its own,
But let's agree. Let's agree. You earn 50,000 rands. I earn 20,000 rands. We consume the same services. You pay more. I pay less.
okay.
We consume the same services. So why is that fair? That's exactly what happens in a tax. Some people don't pay tax and they consume free education. You paying here.
Yeah.
Free medical care. You are paying here,
Yeah.
and you're still paying for them. How fair is that?
but
No,
that
no,
is a
no,
social,
no, that's
that is a
different though.
responsibility.
It's a
But
responsibility.
how fair? How fair is that
Extending hands to
responsibility?
The
them.
fairness
It's
is
still
something.
law.
No, but the fairness is something else. It's you are obliged. That one you have to.
Oh, but guys,
But-
you told you are obliged.
You are obliged.
You are obliged, guys. You are
Yeah,
using
but
the
You
road.
have to.
Yeah, but then.
I don't pay you to
You are using
Yeah,
the road.
but
Okay,
that's-
okay.
that's-
You know, the issue of e-toll is one
It's
side.
not the same as tax
It's
laws.
only in Gauteng, right?
You see?
And other provinces. They drive this road. Why are they not paying it?
You see?
We own
No.
the roads in Gauteng. We are residents. We
And
use
the
the
tax, we all pay tax. Whether you are
Not all
working
of
for
us. Those who don't work, okay, those who don't have the means to pay tax don't. There are those who have the means and are earning a lot of money, they still don't pay tax.
That is
Many.
unethical. eh?
Now that's why
is
it's
unethical.
unethical.
That is
Yeah.
unethical. And I'm saying we are employed by the same company. I earn 5,000 rands, I pay no tax. You earn 50, you pay 41% tax. So how fair is that? Because we are consuming the exact same thing. We have the very same government. In fact, it's worse. I'm consuming. You are paying for me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, but you're earning him on it.
50.
But it's your money. It's your money. You've worked for it. You've worked for
It's not
it.
yours.
So how fair is that?
59% is yours. The 41 is not yours.
So but when my boss hires me, I don't say, hey Baba, I need you to remember 41% goes to that man.
Yeah.
So increase my salary. My boss is like, hey Baba, I'm paying you 200,000 rands. And your issue, your e-toll, your SARS is your business, not mine. So I'm still expected to pay. And I'm saying that is also not fair, but it is law. So ethics
That one is
broad, and it's the most difficult thing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm yet to meet a person who says I'm 100%
It's difficult to find. Even in Office is the basic thing. We are using Office internet to log on to our personal Facebook accounts. Even that is, if you go to that extent, that is also unethical. That's our personal thing. It's not official. Or LinkedIn, or using the Wi-Fi to run our mobile phones, having WhatsApp message. Even if you go to that extent,
I take that as benefit.
or maybe we will just, or you just take.
You make it ethical then.
We have all the names for these things.
Those small things, sometimes.
But at some companies, they just block you. You can't even open Gmail or anything on that.
Yeah, there are firewalls put in, and there you can't.
So whatever they don't block, then it's
a benefit.
They block everything. They only leave their own services on their
Yeah.
system. Why did they
So
block
if
it?
it's not
So
blocked,
which means
it becomes a benefit.
it's a given.
So now it's no longer your ethical problem. Now, because they didn't block it, I must consume.
There's no ethicalness, like, but they opened it so I can use it. It's just a benefit.
This is.
Very different.
So there is a very thin line. Okay. So I think with this we come to the end of the section 2. I think because the section 1 was pretty long. Tomorrow I think we'll do the section 3, 4 and 5 and the assignment discussion. Because basically what is left is the segmentation, targeting, positioning and the 4 P's. Segmentation, targeting, positioning all goes together. It's like one by one. So we'll do it at one go. So how do you segment? What are the different ways by which you can segment? Then targeting, what are the different options that you have for targeting? Then positioning, how do you create that image in the minds of the customer? And then your 4P policies, strategies. How do you make product strategies, the pricing strategies, the promotional strategies, the different options that you have, and from that you can choose. That's basically what we do tomorrow.
And so one thing that we really like to appeal for is, now we can read and understand and listen to you understand this. One thing I would like us to achieve also or accomplish is for us to be able to apply. For example, you ask exam questions. I wish we can have exam questions or an exam like a question whereby what we are being taught in terms of all the segmentation, target, position and all that, how do you apply it? I have a bit of problem challenge in that since I've been studying application, you understand? I do things differently in my company, but now when it's here starting, there is a particular pattern which is a standardized way of doing it. I need to know if I can accomplish or we can all accomplish. I don't know if you have that understanding. Did you get my point? A practical application of this would be so good for me.
Okay, I think we'll discuss a bit of that tomorrow. But very briefly, I can tell you, for your exams, most of the time it's a case study based. You have a case study. So basically, it's you say, okay, how do you apply these models in that case? Okay. So you are putting yourself into the shoes of a marketing manager. You are given that this is the company, this is the scenario. Okay. How are you going to segment this market? How are you going to develop the positioning strategy for this market? How are you going to develop the 4P strategy or the promotional strategy for this market? It's pure application. That's how we normally, and what you do is, how do you do that? Say for example, I ask you, okay, what will be your promotional strategy? Say it's very easy to say that your promotional strategy will be you have run a TV advert and a social media and this and this. Maybe you finish up in 5-10 lines. The best way to answer is conceptually you say, okay, the different options that I have is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you say out of this 5, I'll use this 2. That makes the examiner understand that you have the conceptual knowledge.
Okay.
It means your entire theory or the model or the concept should first come in. Even if they ask you for only one promotional strategy, theoretically you need to discuss all the possible options that you have and then discuss that, okay, out of this is the one I'm going to apply in this case. I think that's the normal way to answer. That's the right way. So that the examiner knows that you have the conceptual knowledge. Otherwise, sometimes you can just make up. From that it looks like a more sort of a story sort of a thing, and you say, okay, this is the solution. Marketing is such, you say, okay, what is the promotion? You say, okay, well, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. No. The examiner wants that to have the conceptual knowledge also. That's how you need to approach.
Just a quick one. I'm not sure if I understand you, but you want us to get to a point where we do a practical.
A practical
Like for example, I think what it
application
means
of
is,
it
you
here.
see today we chose those two products, the
Yes.
robot and the smartwatch. Yeah, the smartwatch. I think what Trust wants is, by the time we leave tomorrow, we should have actually used those products and chosen a segment, position it, do it practical.
We'll do that.
Like a case-led, what
Yeah.
is
No, that's what we are doing. Like that's yeah. That's what I wanted you to select your product. Tomorrow, segmentation, so we'll segment the South African market for your product. We'll do the targeting strategy.
For that product.
Yeah, because we'll discuss the possible options, that these are the 5 options, and then I'll ask you to say that, okay, this is what I am going to choose. So it's very much like a caselet, that for this product, this is what is going to be your strategy. That's how, the approach is exactly the same. So for targeting, promotion, everything, you have to choose a strategy. We'll discuss it conceptually, and then I'll ask you to apply that for the product that you have chosen. And interesting would be to see the difference. Now we do not have many groups, otherwise, when I've chosen that 5 different kinds of products. So because it was like one product is a fast moving consumer good. One is from a consumer durables. There's a smartwatch. There's a services sector. So I've chosen product from different, and the way the strategies are made for different industries is different. So when we discuss, normally the discussion comes out, okay, for this industry, this kind of marketing is suitable. For another industry, another kind of strategies are suitable. So it's very interesting to know that. But because we have a small size, we have got only 2 products which are quite similar in nature. Both robot and both are electronic products and the latest. So, but yes, you'll understand that how do you really make strategies for those. Yeah, we are following that process. Yeah, that was my whole purpose of choosing a product. Yeah, we will do that. Okay, I think so. Let's break for the day, and tomorrow we meet, and we go ahead with our products. If you've got any questions, you can ask me today or even tomorrow. And even though if the session ends tomorrow, if you've got any questions, any query, you can always write back to me. It's not a problem. I'm here, so I'm a full-time facilitator here. It's not that I'm part-time, so go away. It's just that I'm here. If I'm not facilitating, I'll answer the same day. Even if I don't answer or call you back, it means I'm in the class facilitating. Otherwise, I'll definitely get back to you.